Yeah, Moses, okay, with a nice throwback song. You're watching GTV Breakfast. Are you still in bed? And going to work? Get up, brush your teeth. And, you can watch us while you're in the bathroom. We won't see your nakedness. Just put the Facebook on and you at least listen to us. All right? We've got sports news at 7 o'clock, headlines at 7:20. A conversation on the perennial flooding. President says, take down the buildings. He's going to be the demolition man. Ahead of that, I will be speaking to an original demolition man, the former mayor of Accra, Alfred Oko-Vanderpoy, around 7:20 to give us his experience of what happened when he brought buildings down and whether or not he agrees with what the president is saying about bringing down the buildings. Okay, but for now we're doing food, and it's always Lady T who is in charge of the kitchen. She's the CEO of the College of Culinary Arts and Hospitality Management, and today we're looking at a favorite. Yeah, this is a beans stew with tolubifi.
Yes.
Big T, good morning.
Tolubifi.
Charlie, you're thinking about those days, man. Yeah, my grandma was one of my grandma's favorite.
Oh,
recipe.
it is my favorite to go to. I love beans.
Okay.
So why don't you use it? I mean, beef, tolubifi doesn't like tolu beef.
Yeah.
The saltiness of it and everything. So instead of using any protein, I decided to use tolu beef today.
Okay, so it's red or beans?
Red.
Beans?
Bean stew.
Gobe.
Okay.
That's all right. We say abobo in
abobo.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
what you're going to do right now?
We're going to start the process.
Okay.
When you get the beans, you can stop it for like 2 hours. Because, beans, especially people with peptic ulcer and esophagus
issues.
Gastro issues, that's the word, because I even have it. Soak it for 2 hours, take some of the acid out of it. Yes.
Okay.
Then cook it. It also helps with the cooking process.
Okay.
So I've already cooked my beans this here. Okay. So we're going to start with our palm oil. Just a little bit. Oh, hear the sizzling.
Yeah, I'm interested in the smell. Yeah. At this point, I know Thelma is on her way.
Oh, leave my girl alone now. She's not even close. So this one is the ginger, garlic, tomatoes, onions. I blend all up with the salted beef.
Let me see it. Okay.
With the salted beef. So
Okay.
I've cut my salted beef and I've added. So I'm not going to add any salt to it.
Okay.
So
yeah, because there's enough salt in the beef.
There's enough salt in it to have everything. It's like my base. Usually when tomato and onions are in season, I usually make my own tomato paste and sauce and put it in as a base for my sauces.
Okay. So what's inside here?
So it is ginger, garlic, onions, and fresh tomatoes.
Ginger, garlic,
and I
onions,
cook it.
fresh
Yeah, with the beef.
Okay, and just cook it with the beef. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And that's it. Okay. So we're just gonna.
This is the smell of heaven.
We're gonna stir it up. Wow. So everything goes in. As we say, everything.
Everything goes inside.
Yes.
Okay, so that's your ginger, your garlic.
Yes, the beef is in already.
Okay.
Yes, everything. Makes it easier and you just cook it out a little bit.
Wow.
While that is going, I prepared also the streets. I'm going to lower this a little bit.
Okay.
I prepared the street style beans.
Okay.
So it's just, and that one too, I used the salted beef. So what I did, I cooked it.
You cooked the beans?
With, the salted beef.
You cooked the beans with the beef?
Yes, I did.
Hey. What's going
what
on?
I did, so I cooked the beans and I took some of the salted beef and I chopped it up very small. And whilst it's cooking almost done, I added it to it just to add flavor to it. America, they have this, they cook the beans, but they use the hog, the pork. So why not? So to give it more flavor, why can't you do it?
So there's beef in this?
There's beef, but you can see, it's tiny. I just finely chopped it and added to it.
Is that the secret of the beans on the streets?
I don't know.
You don't
but
know.
That's
It's your secret.
This is my secret.
Okay.
So yeah.
Nice.
So and then we have our gari. We have our green pepper. This is coconut oil.
Coconut oil.
With ginger. No, not ginger, sorry. Onions.
Okay.
So when you go to the street seller, they usually have the coconut oil.
Yes.
So I prefer the coconut oil.
Okay.
So I decided to make the bean stew with the palm oil and the one that is with the coconut oil.
Okay.
Which has ginger, garlic, pepper, and onions all fried.
Alrighty.
And avocado is in season.
Yes.
So avocado goes very well with beans.
Charlie.
So, yes.
Wow.
Yes, so
Okay.
we're going to have a feast today.
This is
I see Thelma lurking around.
No, you know her already.
Yes.
We know
We're
her.
just going to cook it out a little bit.
Yeah.
So whilst it's cooking, this will come together. And I'm not going to add my onions. When it's almost cooked, I'll add the onions to it to give it texture. And, just
you like your textures?
Yes, and just to live the flavor up a little bit. See my voice?
Yeah, jazz it up. Okay.
My husky voice. So can we stop plating?
Yeah, let's stop plating.
While this is going on, we can stop plating. Yeah. So with this, if you want.
This is when I can feel Thelma coming.
Yes.
When she always arrives at the plating.
And these, please, is good. It's a second-class protein.
What do you mean by second class?
Okay, so we have plant-based, which is the second class. And the ones with animal are the first class. Yes,
okay.
yes.
Okay.
With the animal, you get all the amino acids that you need. But with the plant-based, you don't. So you have to make sure that you also add other stuff to it, so you can get all the what do you call it?
Nutrients?
Right, nutrients out of it. The amino acid.
Okay, so that's what the vegetarians want to combine, so that they're not missing out.
And when I'm on diet and I'm trying to be good, I usually the beans. I don't add carbohydrate to it. I just use the beans with my avocado and add protein. Add actually like a fish or something else to it.
Okay. Yeah. But isn't the beans also protein?
It is. Yes. Like I'm saying, it's the second.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And
and then the fish is the first class.
First class. Right. And protein helps like trying to lose weight, like the keto diet and everything. It tells you to avoid carbs. Carb is not your friend.
Okay.
So it helps me to lose weight. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna start.
We're plating up.
We're plating. So
this is just the normal tatale.
This is the normal tatale.
Okay.
I wanted to try this. Let me see if this one will work.
I see.
Okay.
Wow.
Yes. Let's see.
Charlie, we are organizing the plantain like we're building a summer house.
Yes, we are. We are.
Charlie, so much ketchup in these colors also.
We have to. I said go back to the world.
To the world. This one there is not even the universe, the metals.
Just gonna put this here.
Wow.
With it like this. So we take beans and we will just.
That is gobbler with a PhD, man.
It is. Then we'll take some of our.
Okay.
I want the what you call it.
Some of the coconut oil. With the onions. Are they caramelized?
Yes, fried in there.
Okay, I learned that from my son.
Yes, so
caramelized.
This is just fried in there.
Okay.
I'm gonna take. Then we just take
some more plantains.
More plantains.
And you just
building it up.
Building it around.
Yes, building it around. Building it around.
Just to make the whole thing look representable and
you go to a restaurant and they serve you this, of course you want to eat it. And just to put one on top like this. Okay. Then we put you like kind of doing story buildings. Yes, because you eat with your eyes. So anything that look, can you stir that for me, please?
I can.
Yes. So since we eat with our eyes, why not? We have to. So we have more.
Next time, give me a chef's hat.
Oh, I will. I will.
I will. The part,
You have to. Today I even forgot mine. So we have this, and I have my avocado. Okay. So.
Wow.
Yes. And when you don't want your avocado too, so moment of truth.
So you need to start some kind of cooking challenge on TV,
I should. So
you do. You need to do that.
I will.
Yeah.
Oops. We put our avocado.
Master Chef Ghana style.
Yes.
Yeah.
Avocado around it like this.
All right. Wow.
I'll clean it up. Don't worry. It's a bit messy. My avocado is make a mess. Okay. Then. Oh yes. Oh God, it's so hot in the kitchen.
Let me take it off. Take the jacket off. Yeah. Okay.
So we come.
Now we're ready.
And we put a bit of our green pepper on top of mine. Stamped it up.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Now we're in business. Okay, so this is the plating.
Yes.
Lady T. This bowl is just blocking the view of this. What you're doing here. It's not a joke.
So we'll take our oil and just Just only like this.
I'm just patiently waiting.
So this is your bean stew.
Your beans, this is just normal beans, not even with the stew. Just the normal beans.
Yeah, I'm doing
with
the
our
stew.
plantain, with our coconut, and fried onions, and we have our gari on the side. So anybody wants it. So you go to a restaurant and they serve you this.
Wow.
And then what happens? You're going to put the stew by the side?
No, I'm going to do another plating with it. This is just for that. So you're going to do another plating.
Small.
So
I think I need to lose this jacket and come back
I come back.
when the next plate comes. Yeah.
So,
Wow, are you coming?
so now we're
done?
going to, yes.
Okay.
It's cooked up for about 5-10 minutes now because I cooked the tomatoes and everything in the house. I've like speed up the process. Okay. So now we're just going to add our
Oh, this is a different kind of mix.
Yeah. This is just for the regular beans that we buy outside.
Okay.
This is the stew.
This is the stew.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is our stew.
So I can keep stirring.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, and because it's a bit thick,
Bit of water
we're gonna
to
add
lighten
a
it.
little, yeah.
Okay.
So it becomes more saucy.
Okay.
So I didn't add too much oil, but if you want, you can. We're all watching our fingers, so you don't want too much.
Yes.
So that is our bean stew with our tolo beef.
Tolo beef,
I'm gonna
yeah.
increase it to.
Okay, so should I switch over to this
Yes,
side?
please.
Okay. All right.
So we're going to plate another one.
Let me get the plate ready for you.
You know, you have to make things attractive. If you go to any restaurant and they serve you, you will eat it.
That's
It's
big-
nice.
big time.
Yes.
Big
So
time.
I say go back to the world. Go back to the world.
Maybe so,
Yes.
maybe so.
So
Okay.
this is it. This is our stew. It's cooking. And I'm going to taste to see if it needs any salt.
Someone is in ecstasy right there. Just looking at the food.
Perfect. It doesn't need anything else.
It's good, huh?
It's good. So, like I said, I leave my chopped sliced onions
Okay.
and I just add it to it. And I don't want to be cooked throughout.
Okay.
So I would just, spicy. That's the way I like
so
it.
this whole business, I mean, how long would it take if you were starting from beginning to end?
Oh, it takes about like 40 minutes
40
to cook
minutes.
the beans.
Okay, all right.
Okay? But then to cook the sauce, to make the sauce and everything out of it, it shouldn't take you more than 20 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. More than 20 minutes.
Good. Awesome.
So we add
More plating?
More plating. So
Okay.
our second one, I'm going to do it with
With some rice?
With rice.
Okay, rice and bean stew.
Rice and bean stew.
Okay.
So let me open this up. Okay. We'll take our mold. I'll mold the rice this time. So you just go and it's a presentation.
So what is this? What's it called? A mold?
Yeah,
Okay.
just to
Food mold.
food mold. You can make it with.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go around it, and I'm not gonna make it as high. So I need a small spoon. This is good.
So it's Lady Talbot. She's the CEO of College of Culinary Arts and Hospitality Management. Today we are doing things with beans.
Yes, we
Yeah,
are.
and then there's some beef, tolo beef, which is beef, right?
Yes,
Salted beef.
Salted beef.
Yes, tolo is beef in Ghana.
Tolo is goat.
Is goat?
Goat, yeah.
Goat or china?
Yeah.
China is beef.
China is beef.
Okay, all right. That shows you how much I know. I always thought tolo was okay. It's goat. All right. Thank you very much.
So we just this
Yeah,
one just
I'll stick to Ether.
you stick to.
Bolan.
So this one we have I have avocado. but it's
More
not-
avocado.
Yes, I mean avocado is in season and it's really good. If you want to get your intake, it has more potassium
Okay.
than what do you call it? Even banana. So why not go for it? I love avocado.
Okay.
I love avocado. So you're just gonna
Okay.
put it
Clear
on
that
the
way so they can
side.
see what you're doing.
Yeah.
All right.
So then our sauce.
People are making orders, so I'm hearing 2 plates with rice, please.
So we're gonna turn it off.
Okay.
So
So where does that go?
it's gonna just
On top.
go on top and just with the onions.
There's another one.
Just on
Okay.
the side. If you want more beans,
Okay.
I will serve on the side.
All right.
Yes.
So we can put that there.
When you
When you're done.
you always have to clean your side.
Yeah, so make it look nice.
Make it look
Okay,
nice.
so tissue is working.
Yes. Just have to
Okay.
let it go.
So let's name this. What do you call this?
Oh my goodness! I'll let you name
So
it.
it's rice.
Rice with beans, and ripe plantain and avocado.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So Thelma's special.
Special.
Beans special.
Yes, beans special.
Okay.
Yes.
And this one is like
A mountain of
Yeah, no, it's a story building. It looks like Villaggio, man. It's,
beans a la carte, is that? Beans a la carte.
Beans Villaggio a la carte.
Yes.
You know, yeah, beans Villaggio a la carte.
Yes, so
Yeah.
this is what we are. We're going to have another plate, right?
Another one. Drop it on. Yes.
Drop it on. So
the
which
people
one?
are counting.
So with rice or... Oh, okay, I hear you.
Thomas put her name on this one. I think Valeria's put her name on this one. Okay.
So which one do you want? What you want, rice with it? Okay, I'm doing it. Okay.
Another one. Okay. So let's talk about this. So you know this tolo beefy thing. But why do they call it beefy when it's goat?
Oh, you know it's gas.
Tolo beefy. All right. Okay. So it's salted goat meat.
It's salted
Yeah.
goat.
So it can get really salty. How do you get the salt content out? For those of
you
people who are very worried about salt intake.
So what I do is I usually put it on fire.
Okay.
I boil it for like maybe. When it starts boiling, I pour the water out. I do like 3 times, or I soak it in water.
Okay.
For
to take the salt out.
To take the salt out, but then I'll change the water and put another water on it, just so that it contains a lot of. And you can make your own salted beef.
Okay.
One day I'll come and show. It's very simple.
Okay.
You get the good part of the meat, and you could even do it. So
Okay.
we're gonna.
So that is. So now we see how they do these things.
Yes.
Okay.
Just mold it. Now
So this is another one.
Yes.
Same thing as you did.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just gonna. This one, make it more beans. I think the other one.
Are we out of plates?
Why is the thing so hard? But don't worry, the crew.
Yes.
Then
Alrighty.
this one
So
we will put,
health benefits of beans.
oh God, fiber.
Fiber.
Fiber is our friend.
Okay.
It has magnesium in it. It has zinc. Oh, and it's so cheap. Like for 20 cities, you could just go to school with it. It's really cheap.
Okay.
And I will go for it.
Thank you very much.
Go for it.
Yeah.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite. And my sister in the States, I told her I was making it. She was like, "Can I come to Ghana and just have it?" I was like, "Why not?"
And then go right back.
I was like, "Why not?" So
Okay, this one has some green pepper on it.
Yes. why
Okay.
not? This one
I can see that the Gary is not being used at all.
No,
but
but
that's
it's optional.
it's
Anybody
optional.
wants
You
it,
can
they
sprinkle.
could sprinkle.
Okay.
That's so Gary. in
all
it,
right.
So
Okay, so there's another one.
Yes.
I'm going to put it out there. I don't know who is. And give me cutlery. People are coming already. Pirates. Oh, pirates. Yes, they rob I.
Oh goodness.
Sold I to the.
So I could take.
Is that what you want?
Because for the aesthetics, I'm just going to leave that here so the
Which kind of
photographs can
aesthetics?
take
You want
it.
chop the chew?
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on, but a close eye.
Keep an eye.
So let them just take the nice photo and then I'll
Carry
evacuate
on.
it.
Okay, all right.
But which one? Look how she's standing.
She's salivating.
Quietly.
Okay, so
Which one do you want?
Which one do you want? The middle one.
The rice.
This
No,
one.
the far,
rice. Okay.
the far one.
We'll give you rice.
Oh, I didn't give this one plantain. So
Okay, we can put some plantain on that one.
Yes.
Give her a fork.
yes,
So
so
we'll
we'll
Okay.
get that one.
do justice to it.
Away.
Thank you. I need all the food, guys.
Okay.
I need all
Bye.
the
See you.
food.
Which one do you want?
See you
That one.
guys.
This one. The plantain.
Yes, please.
Please give her some plantain.
Okay, Mike. Oh, I'll let you do the honors. Do the plantain. So guys, please, plantain beans, inexpensive. The margarine, the small one is 5 cities or 3, and I think 4 cities. You go to the market, make it. It's a second class protein already. You don't have to add more protein to it. You can add grounded fish powder to it, some shrimp powder to give it flavor. You could eat it with rice. You could eat it with yam. You could do kenke, plantain, gari. It's just that.
It's a whole vibe. Thank you. We missed you last week, and this more than makes up for it. So
Thank you. I missed you guys too. I'm glad to be back.
Don't bring us another plate so we can plate another one. This one is from Altiti.
It's for Motiti.
Yeah, she's no longer fasting.
She's no longer fasting. If they could get another plate,
Another
please.
plate. If another plate can come, we'll be happy. Okay, so walk us through the process again while we get another plate.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So we had this one, the what is it? Blenders gari.
Yes.
That they usually gari photo. Not gari photo. The
It's
beans.
gari, yeah.
It's beans.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just cooked my beans with gari with the salted beef. But I left some of the salted beef and I really finely chopped it. So when it was almost cooked, I added it to it because it's so fine. With the heat, we'll cook it.
Okay.
So that is it.
Okay.
Then I made some coconut oil, put it on fire, add onions to it, add some pepper, some ginger, some garlic, and that's it to go with it. You could also use palm oil if you don't like the coconut oil, but I prefer coconut oil. And we have gari, avocado, and our plantain. And this is just green pepper with ginger and onions that we just grind, and that's it to go if you want a bit more spice.
Awesome.
And when it comes to our stew, you just take tomatoes, onions, garlic, a bit of ginger. I cooked it with the beef. Then I blended it, roughly blended, right, for our base of our sauce. So when you put your oil on, you add your mixture of tomato sauce to it, cook it out for about 10 minutes, then add your beans to it, cook it for another 5 minutes. Then you could start with your onions, but because I said I like it with texture, when it's almost cooked, and you can see it's almost cooked, the onions are almost cooked. So that's basically it.
Okay. And it's good to go.
Good to go.
And the nutrients that we're going to get from all of this, we're getting fiber, we're getting
potassium, zinc, protein. Yeah, it's really good. It's really good.
What do you say to those people who think, oh, this food here, be hustling to chop this kind of beans? So, I mean, beans for what?
Aren't we all hustling?
Thank you. So we're hustling, especially in these tough times.
Yes.
Yeah, in these
you
tough
have
times.
to stretch the city as much as you can.
Exactly.
And if you have a big family of 4 or 5, if you make this, for 2 days, you can't have this for 2 days. Why not? You could take it to work too.
You could take it to work?
Yeah,
pack it up and go.
Pack it up and go.
Let me leave you just to go and look at messages.
Okay.
And I'll come back.
Okay.
All right, so
don't take too long. I'm going to miss you.
No, I'm not going to take too long. Just give me like 2.5 minutes and we'll check the messages coming up.
No problem.
055-556-1034. People are making their comments. So Jerry, yummy, yum. That's all. Clara Rosalind says yummy, and she sent us a video of us doing our cooking with the 2 ladies who came for their servings. Brema Design said, my favorite chai. GTV breakfast is overwhelming my appetite. Hey, Gobe. Is it Gobe? Gobe Beef Nation. Wow, that's a new movement. I bet, can I just have one? Stephanie Benson had a song like that. Give me one more. We'll give you one more. Yeah, I don't think she was talking about beans though, but give me one more. I'm drooling, says Papa. Beans stew with tolo beef. Beef, you have to add the I, beefy. Tolo beefy. Mena Hunter says, good morning. So all of us here, wow, this is what we really call sizzling a la carte. A la carte, very simple to prepare. God bless you so much, family. Mena Hunter Franco Bab of New Edu Biase giving us that. He said, good morning, my people. I'm on my way to the studio now. Yeah, you've got to be there, man. The food is on point, and Lady Thelma has just taken a whole studio to a whole new level. So keep them coming in. 055-556-1034. Good morning. This morning's Gobe on the show brings Gobe memories from school days. This meal is a pack of nutrients. Gobe Nation. Let me tell you a story about Gobe. Okay. So when I was in secondary school, I went to Achimota, and on Thursdays, yes, this was the day. On Thursdays, we had
you
doch.
remember?
Yes, doch. We used to call plantain doch. Okay. So it's plantain and beans. And 10 minutes before the bell rang for dining, a senior in my house, Agri house, he sent a small boy into the dining hall to pick one plantain from every table in the dining hall. I don't remember. I think we had maybe 60 tables.
Wow.
And so this small boy with a rubber bag picked one plantain from every table. Wow. And the plantains have been counted. So that day, there was civil war in the dining hall because on every table, one person was going to have a plantain missing.
Yes, he's a senior.
And that person didn't agree. Why? Because on Thursdays, everybody came to the dining hall.
Of course.
Yeah. The person wouldn't agree why, Charlie, my plantain short. No. So it was, and then the seniors had 60 plantains in the hall, in the dormitory, and they had a feast.
Oh, wow.
Of plantains. So that was my Gobe story. Yeah, there's a nice one in Usu somewhere I've been enjoying once in a while.
Yes, me too.
Yes, it's great stuff.
Gobe is like, it's taken, not everybody's like, I guess times are hard, so people are trying to, because when you eat it in the morning
with a lot of gari
and water, you're good for the day.
Concrete.
You're good for the day.
Forget the plantains, just the beans and the garlic.
When the plantain is not in season, so you could just do the stew and just cook it with the rice and just add a little plantain just for the,
That's it, and then you're good to go.
You're good to go. You're good to go.
Lady T, thank you so much. Are there any more messages? Yes, I think there's another one there. This is called, I'll go really down. But tell us about your school. Have you have a new intake?
We have a new intake at College of Culinary Arts. It's ongoing on right now. You could go to our website, which is info@cocam.com.
Cocam.
Yeah,
C-O-C-A-M.
cocam.com. Yeah,
.com. Okay.
And yeah, also on Instagram, it's College of Culinary Arts. On Facebook, College of Culinary Arts. And you could call me if you want to hear this husky sex voice.
Yes, why not?
On 024-370-8575. 024-370-8575.
Okay. And you can watch this segment again tonight from 11:30. This segment will come up again. It's actually right now on Facebook. So when we are done, you can just go to Facebook for Ghana Broadcasting Corporation and look for this segment, and you can watch it again and get all the tips and prepare it for yourself. And then let us know your feedback from this wonderful bean stew with tolobifi. That's it for today.
That's it for today.
Yes, Throwback Thursday.
Yes.
I'm glad to have you here. Invade the studio right after Titi does the sports. She's coming here to take this Villaggio a la carte mountain. Listen, Martiti's name is on this thing, so nobody should come for it. No raiders. Martiti, I'm thinking about you. I've sorted your breakfast for you. All right. Okay, so T, thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Nice day. We got some mom.
I'll tell her.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Enjoy your
coming up
day.
next is, thank you so much. Coming up next is sports news. Then we have at 7:20, we've got headlines. I'll be sitting down with the Sheikh and the Reverend Sheikh Arimi Shagu and Reverend Dr. Lawrence Tete. We're looking at the headlines. Big story has to be the presidential directive to bring down the buildings. Yeah, I think we should play that song for him, Demolition Man. He wants to be the demolition man to bring down those buildings. We're having a chat with the former mayor who brought down buildings in the past, and what does he think about what he did back then? Was it effective? Will it work? Will it solve solving the flooding problems? That's at 7:20. I'll be having a chat with Dr. Alfred Van der Poel, former mayor of Accra. Thelma has a big conversation on the perennial flooding. How we're going to do with this whole demolition thing. Will it work? I guess we'll be on at 8:30. And I think Valerie's plantains have confused me, but she's talking with a comedian at 8:30 thereabouts, 9:30 thereabouts. And that's your show for you. So 055-556-1034 is a WhatsApp number. You stay with us. Do not go anywhere. This is GTV Breakfast. No more.
Thank you for staying on and joining us. On this side is GTV Breakfast Sports. All the hymns in the studio, the scents, the aromas. You can't even miss this. Prepare it at home and then enjoy it. That's when you feel that you belong. Because Val, everybody's mouth is busy. I'm just going to be busy giving you what's happening in the sporting world. And we'll look at how Ghana is preparing for the AFCON 2023 double header. Why will Thomas Partey miss that game? And also South Africa's chances at the AFCON 2023. Look at the Europa Conference League. Mo Salah is staying on at Liverpool for the next season. We'll look at that as well, among other stories. I am multi-deciders. Let's kick off with the AFCON 2023 double header. And following the recent announcement of the 4-man technical team to lead the Black Stars ahead of the World Cup, the team immediately kickstarts preparations for Ghana's AFCON 2023 qualifier double header against Madagascar and Central African Republic. Now, the first game between Ghana and Madagascar will be played on June 1 at the Cape Coast Stadium, with the Central African Republic facing it off with the Guinean side on 5th June at neutral grounds in Angola. Ghana coach Otwado is yet to name his squad for the double header next week. And if you've been on social media, you see all the buzz after the announcement was made. People are asking, do they have enough time to prepare the boys and all of that? And people are also praising them because of what we saw in the AFCON. Now, whilst we wait for the announcement of the squad, let's quickly sort the views of a coach, Coach Abukari Damba, who's joining us on the phone lines on the chances of the Black Stars ahead of this double header. Good morning, Damba.
Good morning, my dear, and how are you today?
I am well. I hope you're well this rainy morning.
Doing very, very good, my dear.
Great. Right. Let's look at our Black Stars and their chances. Everybody wants to see them in Qatar. We want to see them win the AFCON as well. Now that the interim technical team has been maintained, let's look at the mandates that's given to them for now till December. Or from now till that's like 7 months. Do you think a long-term contract would have rather been better to instill confidence in Otto Addo and his technical team?
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity, and a good morning to our cherished listeners. I must say the first hurdle has been clear, and that is giving the mandate officially, giving the confidence to the technical team and giving them spelled out rules and responsibilities. That is where it all starts, and that is a very, very good thing. In as much as they were already working whilst in waiting for what just happened, they expected to happen, and it has happened. That is very good. And I must also say to you, as coaches and as technical team, they prepare ahead of time. They always know exactly what they want to do, and they understand what they want to do. So it's just a formality that they have been confirmed. But I must say to you that they were already working together as a team from far, those at home and those from abroad, especially Otorado, overseeing the responsibilities of the other technical team members from afar. I think it is good to go. You don't need a long-term contract to be able to perform. Long-term contract will only be attracted when you perform well. And I think that this technical team has demonstrated beyond all reasonable doubts, especially qualifying Ghana to the next World Cup. In difficult times, they were able to do that. So I think that it is fair, it is good. Overseeing the responsibilities of the team until after the World Cup is a fantastic opportunity for them to showcase exactly what they know. And I have every confidence that they will be able to do this, and they will do that well. You only need the support of administration.
Right, Coach Damba, when we look at the teams they'll be meeting or their rivals they'll be playing against, there's Madagascar, the Central African Republic that will play for this later. Would you say it's going to be an easy start for the Black Stars looking at these two countries?
Very, very, very far from that. Every single opponent deserves to be where they are, and every single opponent is a potential champion.
Right.
So we will never say that any country, for that matter, in this current dispensation of scientific football that we are all exposed to, is a walk in the park. Never. It's not about big names. It's about the kind of materials that you have and the kind of direction that the materials are being taken toward by technical men. So it's a wonderful opportunity for Madagascar, as well as a wonderful opportunity for Ghana to keep telling the whole world that we are still the dominant force that we used to be. So, my dear, it's an open game, but it serves as a wonderful opportunity also for our players who are going to be given the opportunity to really show that they deserve to be where they are, and to also serve as a wonderful preparation towards the oncoming World Cup.
Right. So we shouldn't expect that the Black Stars would have a field day because these teams are probably not up to the standard of the Black Stars and will beat them. But let's also look, there are a lot of information out on social media. There's the banter about our players switching their nationalities to play for the Black Stars. Do you think that we should consider using the team that we used during the AFCON, or we should still consider convincing our players out there to switch their nationality and then play for the Black Stars?
My dear, the first thing we all have to know and consider and realize that every person who is Ghanaian, no matter where the person is playing football, is eligible to play for the national team. That's one. Number two, the person should be interested and will want to play for the national team. That is two. Number three, the person should meet the standards of the technical team if given the opportunity to come and play for Ghana.
Right.
So it is open. And if the technical team is interested and know the person can come and help the country, why not? So it is not about who played in the qualifiers, who was part of the team when the Black Stars qualified. It was an opportunity. You take it as soon as it's given to you. It is left for you to confirm that you are a candidate that must always be invited. So it's up to the players. The technical team will give everybody opportunity. So anybody at all who's going to be convinced to come and play for the national team, so be it. But the only thing that I want us to avoid is that we don't need to create apathy in the team. That's the only thing. But I believe that the managers are aware of this and they will be able to take care of this adequately, my dear.
Right. Finally, before I let you take leave of us, Coach Damba, the problems surrounding Ghana football and our players not able to deliver on the pitch, aside from people saying that there are big names in the camp that some of the coaches cannot speak to or discipline when they are not putting their best foot forward, what other things do you think are the problems that this technical team will be better placed to handle?
Well, I tell you honestly, this is a technical team that are coaching at the highest levels, and they understand the modern trends of coaching. They understand management. They have played football to the highest level themselves, and they do understand how to deal with the individual egos.
Okay.
And how to deal with the team egos.
Right.
So it is all about managing. Players are not the same. Players don't behave the same. But then, the coach's responsibility is what? To let the players think alike, behave alike, and also act alike. And that is the psychological aspect of it. And I believe very strongly that these coaches will be able to deal with these things as and when they come about. But that notwithstanding, the players themselves want to be part of the team.
Right.
So they will definitely obey, but then coaches must be strong.
Right.
They must be strong. When something goes wrong and they take decisions, they must stand by the decisions, and administration will stand by them and their decisions.
Right. Thank you so much, Coach Abukari Damba. He's a former goalkeeper of the Black Stars and currently a coach here in Ghana. For those insightful thoughts, he's just been telling us about the Black Stars preparations towards the AFCON 2023 and the World Cup in Qatar, and how the technical team that has been named by the Black Stars will lead our boys into victory. And you can catch a repeat of that at 11 p.m. when the show is repeated, so that you'll be able to get the great insights Coach Damba just gave there. We'll still stay on the AFCON 2023. Meanwhile, reports coming in indicate that Ghana star Thomas Partey is likely not to be in action for the Black Stars during the 2023 AFCON doubleheader next week. Now, the midfielder sustained an injury last month while in action for Arsenal in the English Premier League defeat to Crystal Palace. Although there were hopes he could make the games, things look impossible for the player, who is yet to resume full training with his club Arsenal. Now, Ghana Black Stars B will face Benin in the preliminary round of the 2023 Championship for Africa Nations CHAN qualifiers. The winner of the tie will be drawn against 6 other countries from the WAFU Zone B for the final round of qualifiers. According to the draw procedure released by CAF, 3 teams will qualify from the WAFU Zone B to the final tournament. 18 teams will qualify for the main tournament, which will be hosted by Algeria next year. Still on the CHAN draw now, all is set for the delayed 2022 Africa Nations Championship CHAN draw, which will be held in Cairo, Egypt today. According to the Confederation of African Football, 18 teams will for the first time participate in the tournament, which will run from 8th to 31st January 2023 in Algeria. Algeria legend Jamal Menat, top scorer and winner of 1990 Africa Cup of Nations with ZZ Foxes, will be the draw assistant, joined by CAF head of competitions Khalid Nassar. Ghana, 2-time silver medalist of the competition, have failed to qualify for the last 3 editions of the tournament. Let's move on to South Africa now. South Africa's chances of qualifying for the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations have been boosted after the Confederation of African Football upheld FIFA's ban on Zimbabwe and Kenya. The 2 countries were suspended due to political interference in their football associations. CAF initially included them in the AFCON draw in April on the condition that the suspension must be lifted 2 weeks before their first match day. But Zimbabwe, who were grouped with South Africa, Morocco and Liberia, will now drop out of the 2023 AFCON qualifying stages. Let's look at the Europa Conference League. And Roma became the first winners of the Europa Conference League after beating Feyenoord 1-0 and ensuring Jose Mourinho remains unbeaten in major European finals. Mourinho had his fingerprints all over the Roma performance as his side defended heroically for large parts and got their winning goal with
Welcome back, and it's 19 minutes after 7. Where are you watching us from? Where are you listening to us from? Are you going to work? Are you going to drop the children off at school? What does traffic look like for you? Well, if you live around the Manette Spintex area, or that's the stretch you're going to be using, we're going to be bringing you what traffic looks like from that part of town. Our guy Jay is on standby, is on the beat, and he brings us updates as to what traffic looks like from that part of town. Oh yeah, he's having his breakfast. Good morning, Jay. You're live.
Thank you so much, Val. How you doing? It's welcome to Rush Hour, and this is what we're bringing you live updates. So we're monitoring the traffic situation, watching what everybody's watching. It's there is some precipitation. You know, the rain is beating me. I asked for an umbrella, but I was given this very hot cup of tea, so that's what I'm sipping on. You know, trying to warm myself up. So. We're here on the My Junction bus stop here on the Spintex Road, bringing you these updates. And if you are trying to use this side this morning, there are some seas of red if you look on your Google map, so you know how to avoid this traffic. And perhaps if you want to avoid the rain altogether, perhaps call your boss and take a day off. Don't be like me. So, if you're coming in from the Coca-Cola side, you're on the Spintex Road, the China Mall, and all that, and you're coming all the way, that's where you see the red. Unfortunately for you, the police is here to help direct traffic. So, even though you see the red on the Google Maps, you'll notice that you'll be moving a slow and go kind of traffic situation. So, it's not like you'll be stopping for a while. And when it comes to this bus stop, it's quite famous on the Spintex Road, and everybody knows the Manette Junction bus stop. And I'd like to draw your attention to the pedestrians who are crossing the road at the moment. They are going towards the motorway. For most of them, they are either going towards East Legon or they're heading towards Stema. So what they do is they go towards the motorway and then they board vehicles from there. Later on, I'll bring you a keep an eye report as to how exactly when they are boarding vehicles from there, what exactly happens on the motorway. We may not feel the effects, but you can just see the number of people who are making their way over there. So not that there's a direct access for cars when they are going towards the motorway from here. It's just for the pedestrians. When they get there, then they just board their vehicle, and then they make their way towards their destinations. So if you're on the main Spintex Road right now, coming from Coca-Cola, coming from Casapreco and whatnot, making your way towards Medina, towards La Paz, towards Manette itself, it's a slow and go situation. And looking at the morning, if you're in a chilled car with your AC and all, you won't suffer that much. So now we'll turn our attention towards those who are going to Akamo and Medina. At the moment, I believe there is a bit of stoppage here at the junction itself. Only to this here intersection that we are, because the policeman is just ahead and making sure that commercial drivers park properly, so there is too much of a hold up over here. I see the police making its way over here just to ensure that this place moves as quickly as possible. But if you're looking for those coming from Cylinder area, those coming from Papaya, those from that side, there is some bit of traffic when they get. There's some bit of stoppage when they get to this here junction. And for those who are on the main Aguleza Manette Road, they are the ones entering at the moment. Yeah. So the police man is here and helping to control affairs. So if you are coming from that side, Flowerpot for instance, there isn't that much traffic. If you are making your way towards Sakmono and you are making your way towards Committee 18 and all. So in our final update, we'll turn our attention towards the Manette Aguleza Road. And for here also, you find there are some alternative routes for people who want to door traffic on the Spintex Road. They use the back and go through Manette Estate and then get out of Flowerpot, or perhaps you can go all the way towards Lekma, Tabibiano, Bush Road Junction, or go all the way towards Teshi Police Station. That's because this road goes all the way to that side, and it has been resurfaced, but there will be more updates on that from Alan Abidi. And so if you look at this side, there isn't that much of vehicular movement. It's just the usual hustle, people buying food, trying to get their breakfast and whatnot, and make their way to work. And then back on Tuesday, when we were giving the reports on the flood updates and all, we noticed that for some number of people, even though there was water everywhere, they still try to make their way to the office. So that excuse or that myth that when it is raining, Ghanaians don't go to work, I don't think it's true. Looking at the situation, at the moment. There are still a number of people out here, and they also, I think you have to make your living, you have to make your daily bread, and that's what exactly is going on here at the Mane Junction bus stop. So a lot to see, a lot going on, and hey, it may be raining, but we are here giving you this update. So for me, drinking my tea, back to you, Val, in the studio. And oh, I would like to wish my cameraman says it's his wife's birthday, Mrs. Joa Pelete. Happy birthday to you. May the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrows. Amen. Amen. Back to you, Val, in the studio.
Amen, Pastor J. Thank you for that report. Yes, and that's rush hour coming to us from the Spintex Manette area. So, hey, if you're going to be using that stretch, traffic is fast building up. It's 7:25. You might want to leave home now or use an alternative route when you type your location into the Google Maps. Okay, now still to come, we're going to be having a conversation on the headlines where CAF is going to be sitting. Well, they're already getting ready. CAF, the Sheikh, and the Reverend, they're going to be discussing what's trending on the news line, on the headlines and newspaper portals and everything that's trending. And the show is interactive, so send your comments, anything you want to share, to our WhatsApp number, which is 05555610034. We are live on DSTV channel 278. The show will be right back.
Okay, good to have you here. We're throwing it back to the days I used to wear suits. Yeah, so I'm wearing this one as a throwback. And I want to say good morning and happy 10th birthday to Kwame Ansakoi. And this is from your father, Kwesi Labi Ansakoi of La Te Equiapim, wishing you the best of God's blessings. He's a vandal too, so may you grow up to become a proud vandal like your daddy. So happy birthday to you, Kwame Ansakoi. You are 10 today, and daddy says, wishing you all the best of God's blessings to you. My guests are both ambassadors, and put me in the mix as well, because a couple of days ago, the Ministry for National Security launched a media campaign to deal with the threat of terrorist attacks on our dear country, Ghana. And some of the ambassadors, include all the people who are sitting on my panel today, including the host himself. So, Reverend Dr. Lawrence Tete and Sheikh Armiya Shaibu are my guests for today's show. Gentlemen, good morning, ambassadors. Welcome to the show. Good to have you.
Good morning, and thank you so much for becoming an ambassador yourself.
Yes, so yes, I'm hanging around with you and Sheikh. So I'm part of the.
Your good works have been recognized.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
Country and for God. I mean.
Thank you.
Yes.
I really, it's a steep topic. I'm really proud to be part of this, and it's a very serious thing, non-partisan, nationalistic call for us to spread the word about what we need to do to counter these terrorist threats before they even manifest. And you were in the news, Sheikh, talking about on instructions of the National Chief Imam for the mosque management committees to have CCTVs installed in the mosques.
Yes, because it is a departure from the norm. Our mosques are so open. In fact, you wherever you belong, once you see the mosque in its time, you will enter and pray. I mean, so now because of this situation, we have to depart from the norm and say, look, mosque management committees now should think of installing CCTVs, provided the resources is available, and then also as a departure from our norm, also the use of security, engagement of private security at our mosques, and it's so key because of the lessons we are learning from Nigeria. Educational institutions, for example, the case of the Chibok girls and other schools that were invaded by the terrorists and the kidnappers, should tell us that it is possible that once we allow them to come in, they can take advantage of these places. So we need to really get the mosque management committees to begin to consider engagement of private security people. More importantly, I think that, like I have said, in fact, insecurity has no religious color. It has no political color. So there's no any insecurity that is Christian and no insecurity that is Muslim. When they strike in a hospital where there are Muslims and Christians, but the bomb will not respect anyone who is sleeping there because it's either a Christian or a Muslim. It will strike anybody. If it strikes in a market, similarly, it will happen. Football field and other places, even our hotels where probably you can have a very, very eminent person who is either a Christian or a Muslim who had come to do something good for our country. Is going to suffer that kind of thing. So the exchange of information, and that's where the cooperation between, and already in Ghana, here am I every week together with Reverend Doctor, who's a Christian and I'm a Muslim. So we say we want to build on that relationship and exchange information, work together and collectively, save our country, keep Ghana safe. And I like the non-partisan aspect of it. Honorable Gaga was there. Yes. He made a public commitment, and that was for me that was significant. We must make this public. He's an NDC person, and then the minority leader Harold Riso was there, and these were and I saw Adams. I saw him. I mean, where he was even seated, told you how the thing is, and so it's a collective something. And I want to discourage these prank calls that I've heard that I read something that over 10,000 prank calls were registered between in a day. Yes. 10,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10
thousand prank calls.
We should discourage this.
Yeah.
And thirdly, I want to add that we should not, on the back of what we consider as economic difficulties, make joke of this. And I've heard some comments. You need a country to save first for your economic development.
Yeah, there has to be a country.
There has to be a country.
Yes.
And learning from what is happening in Nigeria and other places, I would never support anybody making joke of this because we are. Yes, you have the right. Please express your views about what our economic condition is. Please go ahead and do so, but never discourage people from collectively taking. We need a safe country.
Okay.
We need a safe country.
Okay. All right. So, Reverend Dr. Tete, I want you to watch the public service announcement before I get your comments on the launch of the media campaign against the terrorist action. So check this out, and I'll come back for Dr. Tete's comments.
Over the years, Ghana has enjoyed relative peace and stability, making our country an oasis of peace and stability in the West African sub-region. This is a duty for every Ghanaian.
Shugaban kasa da ilimin yan sanda na gurgudan aikin su kamar da ya kamata. Kasan mu Ghana na cikin kwanciyar hankali ba gurgudan karfin mu ba kuma ba iyawan mu ba. Yana kan ilimin yan sandan da suke aikin su kamar da ya kamata.
Gaka wata wadoawu ne miya komo viewa mikpere unchi elabena amavoduwa ule miado.
Ayeye asedi se omambapa sawo ne me ni ye ni na aye ahweye eyi ni enye ne ne emfasa efri ye potem na jewo ene me ni ye ni na aye.
Ni akashi ni wadomo shojoba konika wana no kwe wanya waye
Dole mataki jama'a in ka gan wani abu ka fadi wani abu.
Onua ye nya ahweye abina na se wu se bibia tchima aya ka
Alabamia nonjo ayi de shiade na fona na gbe.
Be vigilant at all times. If you see something, say something. Call 999.
Hashtag if you see something, say something, call 999, no prank calls allowed. Okay. Dr. Tete, so you were part of you prayed to start the event, and Sheikh prayed to end the event, and you're both part of the many ambassadors to talk about this.
I think
your feelings?
I think Sheikh has really made a point. We shouldn't lose sight of the fact that we have only one Ghana, and we cannot be little-minded about Ghana. It's sad that in a situation like this where people's life is at stake and the whole nation is at stake, somebody can make a prank call. That is how little-minded people have become. So we must show some level of maturity and seriousness, and remember that you think it is very far from you, but it's closer to you than you can imagine. It could be your mother, it could be your friend, and you could be in the bus where you least expect that your relatives are. And by the time you realize the people who are supposed to be winning bread for you have been affected. So we must take it very serious. And then also my biggest plea is that the spirit from which this thing started, we must maintain it. It should not be a religious rift. Many years ago, when you hear of a bomb attack, you're thinking of a Muslim. Today we realize that it's not an Islamic thing at all. Wicked people who want to destroy things. And so the status quo has changed, and we must be like-minded to be able to fight it. So from the Christian home, from the Muslim home, from the Islamic community, from any religious community, we need to come together. And I keep saying that we need to fight this thing in a massive united front. Then we'll achieve it. The other thing that's very important is that we should not just show our faces that NDC has supported and our MPP has supported. We must act. I believe in we walking the talk. Because what it is now, if we don't stamp it out in the next few months to make sure certain people are even rooted out of our community, I think it's too close for comfort. There's one statement that national security and the BNI has stated that, and they are not panicking. I think it's a political statement, and to make them feel that it's like a footballer going to be psyching himself. We should be panicking. The truth is that we should be panicking. We should be panicking because there's no art to see the mountain of construction from the face, and we don't know who it is. Today in Ghana, we have a lot of kiosks in many areas. I've seen them clearing some kiosks around the motorway area, the Spinters Road area. Yes,
Kiosk City.
And I passed there yesterday, and it's an eyesore.
Scary.
And so we don't end up people you see that you can just tell these are dodgy characters. So we need to wake up, and in waking up, we shouldn't take for granted the peace Ghana enjoy. You know, if you go to the sub-region, I've had a chance to travel extensively.
Where have you been, Reverend?
Not to be too arrogant, I think I've been to over 130 nations.
And in Africa, where have you been? You can give us some examples.
Look, I've been to Nigeria. I've been to Ivory Coast here. I've been to Gabon. I've been to Angola. I've been to Congo, Kinshasa, and Congo, Brazzaville. I've been to Zambia, been to Ethiopia, come back to a place like Lubumbashi that shares border. I remember Congo alone shares border with 11 countries in Ghana.
In Africa?
Yes, in Africa, sorry, in Africa. And so you travel around. Remember, I'm an evangelist, and sometimes you jump into the plane of Maurice Renault's private jet, and it's taking around that nation. It's going from nation to nation. So sometimes 6 weeks on a row, we are picked here from the jet, and we are ministering around the world. Sometimes we go on private, and we see people's hands chopped. I have been to Rwanda, and I've come back very broken. Because the family that hosted me, the lady's hand is chopped off. It was chopped off by her own brother-in-law during the war. Because at the time that she was supposed to be hiding there, they realized that she belonged to the other faction. We cannot take this for granted. If you have seen the effect of what these things have done to people, where people have been amputated, people have lost their eyes, people have lost their limbs, people have lost their body. There are people who it's better if they even died because they are living helpless and they are not going to do anything. So I was happy to have been nominated to be part of this. And these are the things I want to do. There are things I will never do. I don't want to be a minister. I don't want to be a parliamentarian member. I don't want to be a political candidate. These are the kind of things, goodwill ambassadors for our nation. This is what I want to be. And we should all see ourselves as goodwill ambassadors to safeguard the safety of our nation. Ghana needs us today like never before. And if we play the joke with it, how safe is Nigeria now? I've been to Nigeria on many occasions to pray for Ayo Oreshe Jafo. Ayo Oreshe Jafo is the chairman of Christian Council of Nigeria. The president comes to the meeting and minister in. But when we are carried here, we are taken from the private jet from here, and we land in Warri, and we are taken to the hotels. We are like prisoners for 5 days until we leave. You don't come out. You do everything in the hotel because you are told when you come out and you are hijacked, it's going to cost them. So as much as we go to Nigeria and in the flamboyancy of all the great things we see, you are even never able to be liberated. What we enjoy in Ghana now, we should not take for granted. And I must say again, we should not be little-minded to trivialize this great thing that we are doing together. So it's not about national security. Certainly, national security could not have done it by themselves. Yeah. BNI, what equipment we have? We are not sophisticated. It's just the grace of God that is keeping Ghana. And I keep telling you, national security, but they show Can you imagine national security personnel introduce themselves to you as, I work with national security?
I see that in a bank and the person is trying to jump the queue and says, I'm national security. I'm wondering,
my wife is amazed when she hears those things. I mean, we get and I work in special service. I work in special service. You say, please, can I take a picture with you? And please, because of the work I do, what work I do, I'm a national security. I'm a BNI. I'm really? Special service. I'm a CID. Oh my God. And some people show you the person a little or something, the motor, the walking talk. Ego. And so that alone tells us how we even need to sensitize our people. Let's educate our people. And it's not their fault. Sometimes until people get to understand what they do. Look, I was at Beckham Palace for a meeting. And I can never forget. A lady that we have brought here, who has been in my crusade and everything. We're going to buy this my Hausa Bubu in Nima. He followed it, even fell in the gutter. We lifted it up. 3 weeks later, the Beckham Palace meeting that have been set for people who are messing up with pedophiles and things. And here was a lady sitting on the panel. She works with MI.
Military intelligence.
MI5. And she was with me. She was with us. In fact, she stayed with us. I almost ended up calling somebody's name. This person I'm talking about now, even Madame Joyce, you knows her very well. Certain people, we are related to this one very well. Just for me to go and say that, so all this time you do this work. And he said, she sworn oath of secrecy. So we should get to that place where we should not take pride. We'll be exposing ourselves and training ourselves, and all these things come with education. Otherwise, people think that is a sign of power and authority. And then we lose the flair and the essence to which we've been sent to do the work.
I know
there's one caution. I'm a Muslim, and I want to be fair and honest and principled on matters of national nature. And I'll commend the Ministry of National Security for the flyers and the way they diversified it. That was very, very good. Because a certain mischief was going to be done. You know, can you show us the Muslim one?
Yes. Let's show the video again. The public service announcement on the media campaign against the terrorist threat. So we're going to play it again for you to have a look. So we'll run it from the top and then you...
Some of my colleagues picked up the Muslim one alone with the flyer, the woman with the hijab.
Okay.
Yeah, and create an impression that we were intact.
Without showing that there were other ones.
There were other ones.
4 or 5 of the flyers.
And like the way that I am, I mean, you don't bring me something and all of a sudden I jump to...
So this is the flyer you're talking about?
Yes. And I told the person, no. So luckily for me, I had on my phone, so I just brought it out.
Yeah.
And then we saw the Christian one.
Yes.
Young man who was there, and the Christian one. So we have the Christian one there.
Yes.
Yeah.
This one.
So exactly. Yes. So then my colleague then quickly said, "Can I push it to him
so that he can share?
He can share it because somebody had picked only that one."
Said,
and as Muslims, I want to be honest. We need to be honest about what we do. As far as we in this country are concerned, we will continue to have good relationship with Christians.
Let me not even cut you. You know what? On that day.
Yes.
I remember you came a little late, or you sent a text that you were in another program.
Yes.
And also where I sat right behind the Minister for National Security.
Yes.
And next to me was the Secretary to the Cabinet, Madame Mercy Deborah. The conversation around that place was how you have been able to integrate with everybody. And I felt very proud of you.
Thanks so much.
The conversation was positive. The way you came, the way you related to people. And I think that is the whole essence of the Ghanaian spirit. So you left a very good mark with yourself. In fact, I'd always marked you 60. But that day I gave you 150. I'd only give you a pass mark. But that day, because
we are Ghanaians first.
Yes.
Really.
Yes, I mean seriously. In the way that we relate, and it's very good for our national security. Because I say that because we relate well, the ground is not soft for terrorists to attack. You see, one if Muslims in the country feel marginalized and there is tension, we feel discriminated against, we are that, we are that. That is when, because of what we do, we create a space. But you have a national chief imam who wants to see us together. Just yesterday, just immediately after the lunch, the Minister of National Security rushed the chief imam.
Yeah. I saw him in the
afternoon.
Communication.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one of the things he said, I said, we in Ghana, that's what I'm quoting him. He said, we in Ghana, Muslims and Christians are able to sit on the same bench, on the same table, and consult ourselves.
But why did you do that? Carefully, we were supposed to see the chief imam first.
No, you know we have an appointment.
So when is
coming Monday?
And you make the strangers go and see them when we are supposed to be having a brother inside.
You have to bring the salah back again.
Yes, to compensate us.
You know, this country of ours, look, if there's trouble and I cross, I have a Nigerian background because I'm a typical Zongo person, my grandparents. But I'm a Ghanaian. Let something happens and I cross, I'm a refugee.
Yes, you are.
I tell you, even in Nigeria, I will not be fully accepted as a true Nigerian. Yes, I'm telling you this for a fact. So that's the only country I have. So I'm calling on every Ghanaian, Christian, Muslim. In the first place, we can have economic difficulty, all right, but the difficulty can be resolved. Whichever government may be able to, but when we lose Ghana,
that's the whole story.
Like the way we are experiencing in Nigeria, it is a terrible. Nigerians have more economic problems, and this is compounded by the security challenges. It's been compounded. We don't want to compound our situation. Look, the Nigerian what do you call it, terrorism is homegrown from Metatine time of Muhammad Marwa up to the current Darwa we have. They want continuous supplies of resources. That is why they target market days.
Yeah.
And when they go, they know where the cattle are. Go rush because they need supply of meat. They need to eat and be strong. They need cereals, food supply. They need it, and they need money.
So markets are key places.
Markets are key places. They rush. You see, they slash one person. You see blood, you all run away.
Then you take your resources.
And then they collect the food. The food is what they need. After taking the food, they will see one policeman, one military man. They can shoot him. They shoot and kill him. One military man is killed. Now you, the civilian, where do you stand? You run for your life. And then they collect the food and the money and the weapons and take it and then go and hide. And the way they do it, that they are not conventional army. Sometimes they live with the people. They come in a garb like me. They are coming to the mosque. They come with a turban. You don't know them. And that's why we're saying that, please, this issue, let us not be divided on this matter. And I will commend the NDC elements that I saw there. I will commend them publicly. Agaga, Haruna Idrisu, the minority leader, for them to show up, Kofi Adams, for them to show up and to show that this one is a national assignment. And we do it, look, even for us, for ethical and moral and spiritual.
And we saw the Wolomo that we saw
the Wolomo, yes, let's commend them also.
Yeah, I saw them as well.
You see, it's for God's grace that He gave us on the whole expanse of the world, that He carved out a certain space called Ghana. He gave it to us. He gave it to us. And that's why we owe a duty to be thankful to Him protecting that part. On land on which we dwell, we eat, land out of which we carve out our identity. Diverse, all right, yes, but we have a certain common identity, a common destiny. That land, we owe a duty to ourselves, to God, to our generations in future, to protect this land. And that's why this is a national call, and we all must support it.
Okay, so you know the numbers to call. It's 999, a simple number. And if you see something, you want to say something, and you say something by calling 999, and that's a 24/7 hotline. 10,000 prank calls. Too many prank calls in a day. Some will say, oh, they're testing for this thing, but hey, please, we need the lines to be available so that if somebody is sending information, somebody can receive it and then act on that information, because information is the greatest resource. Forget money. It's information. Information can lead to all kinds of things. So it's a national campaign, and we pray that you are part of it, so that we keep our country intact Yes, and I'm also part of this campaign too, so I'm one of the ambassadors, so happy to be with you, and we'll share the information as much as possible. My guests are the spokesperson for the National Chief Imam, Sheikh Arimiyahu Shaibu, and the Reverend Dr. Lawrence Tete, founder and president of the Worldwide Miracle Outreach. I'm going to be reading some messages for you right now on 055-556-1034. So keep them coming in, and then we'll look at the big stories of the day. Okay, so let's go to the message board right now and see what we have. Okay. So we got messages coming in. You are responsible for your messages. Regards to Sheikh and Reverend Dr. Tete, joblessness is a threat. I agree. The only solution is to create more jobs for the massively unemployed Ghanaians. So government needs to invest heavily in agribusiness by developing all the value chains to finished products using modern technology. Spending billions on importing fertilizer, chicken, grain, and cereals unacceptable. Yeah, I think jobs, big time. I was listening to President Museveni of Uganda, who says, listen, forget if the wheat is expensive, use cassava to make bread. And I thought he was making sense. Yeah, because you are importing wheat from Ukraine, and Ukraine is shut down in a war. Why don't you use cassava, Banchi? Yeah, the cassava bread. Why not? Corn bread, yes. Plantain bread. Okay. We'll be talking about flooding pretty soon. Don't worry about that. But let's have some more of your security messages. Truth be said, Sheikh Arimiyahu and Dr. Lawrence Tete have really made my day this morning. They've really demonstrated that they're on top of the issues. I'm so proud of you. I always feel happy seeing them together, a Muslim and a Christian, doing justice to issues concerning the country. They should keep it up. But government should not also forget that they have the responsibility to protect lives and property of citizens. For that matter, they should step up their game. Brothers and sisters, if you see something, say something. Thank you so much. Alhaji Hamza, you have caught the spirit of the message. If you see something, say something. I like that. More messages coming in. You are watching us live. Aaron says you're talking about land. We'll talk about land pretty soon. That's a big conversation. The president has said that buildings in waterways have to be destroyed, brought down. So that's a big conversation that we're going to be having in a short while. Thelma will be doing that at 7:30. Good morning. I'm surprised how some people analyze life needs. You're talking about resources. Yes, thank you so much. We'll get to that in a while. Let me see some more messages from you. Good morning, GTV Breakfast. Terrorism is religious indoctrination. We must be conscious. It's not just religious indoctrination. Sometimes people take advantage of jobless youth. They attack resource areas where there are lots of resources. So your gold, your diamonds, your lithium, to make money, to fund their things. I really can't wait to see Ghana behave and stay like-minded as your two blessed guests do every Thursday. God save God. I have a feeling that the people saw you together for like these couple of months. You know, let's recruit these people to be our ambassadors because they are already doing what we want them to do. Doc, Ghana is an island of harmony and stability in an ocean of chaos and violence in West Africa. From Alhaji Dawood, Medina Estate. Now somebody say, when darkness chases you into the dark to devour, saving your life doesn't depend on staying conspicuous but remaining in the dark. Really, this campaign is Ghana's way of courting and enticing a rainbow of terror attacks. You think so? You think that by this campaign we actually caught? You have people saying things like this, Reverend, that the way we are even talking about it is attracting these akpasoi and devils to come and misbehave.
I think people don't realize that it is information that we are bringing out there.
Yes.
When people are informed and they have understanding of their environment, they behave different. They behave on an understanding of a lighting environment. And so we need to do this.
I was speaking to a friend of mine who works at WANEP, West African Network for Peace Building, and she said the market women are key because they've done research across West Africa and they found out that speaking to the market women actually could tell when strange people entered the market and were buying certain things in strange amounts. But they didn't even know that they had to report this activity to the authorities. They found out that when strangers come there, they know. So if our market women are also educated, they know that if you see certain activity, people who you're not too sure of, call it 999. So this information will actually...
In fact, I noticed that in Europe, the bus drivers and the taxi drivers are the biggest informants. They can tell when in the neighborhood
something is not
strangers.
Yeah. The bus drivers.
Yes, bus drivers and taxi drivers.
Because I think it's fallacious to even think that way. It's just telling me that because armed robbers and criminals are on the move in the country, we should not talk about it. That's fallacious.
Yeah,
it's fallacious. I agree. So we are talking about people becoming, even when COVID came, that's how people were behaving.
Yes.
Yeah, we wanted to see. In fact, in Ghana, we wanted to see dead bodies on the streets
to believe that COVID was there.
But it was real. So please, let's support this. Just be informed. We are saying that just be security conscious. That's what we are saying.
That's it. More messages. Good morning. There are these herdsmen, Fulani herdsmen, who would use the bush from Burkina to some of the villages in northern Ghana, their cattle. If herdsmen can always use unapproved routes to Ghana, then I fear for our village folks in northern Ghana. Thank you, by Adam Savannah. Keep them coming in. Good morning. You're talking flooding. We'll talk about flooding in a short while. Don't worry at all. Okay. Your guests are always excellent in delivery. They're always nationalistic. I like the advice. Unlike those two men who come on the show and exhibit their political line, they are not two men who my people are nationalistic. Who are you talking about? They always too early to throw shade. I beg you. Good morning, Reverend Dr. Lawrence Tete. Good morning, Chief Imam's Rep, Reverend from Alaji Dawood and Medina Estate. Agbako, Yao, Sebastian. Good morning, GTV Breakfast Show. Two gentlemen always make your day, our day. You should always call them. We should be careful about how we handle this alert. Okay. Nicholas, the prank calls must stop. This will continually ensure that all seriousness will be attached to all calls to 999. It's not just a Ghanaian thing. I've done some research on prank calls, and it's everywhere. You have sometimes even children testing it to see, and so there are ways of going about it, getting a automated voice response to get the first call and then send it through. So, yeah, please. I'm sure there are people here who have done prank calls before when they were younger, but they've stopped now. Good morning, Gigi. I'm greeting all your panel members. Keep it up. God bless you. Amen. Jackpata, which is a python. Ghana is gradually becoming better. Okay, it's all right. If you see something, say something. We have Operation King of Frontage, E-Levy, and now if you see something, say something. So you're enjoying the the campaigns to get our country in good points. So good morning, GTV. I want to thank the two religious leaders in the studio for their patriotism to Ghana. Thank you very much. We bring patriots here. People who think just about listening keenly to my Thursday favorite Reverend and the Sheikh. They love you. They love you. They love you. Okay, fighting terrorism in Ghana should be a collective fight. I stayed in Nigeria for 26 years, but it has never been easy because they politicize the issues and the poor masses get affected. This is Good Morning from Malik from Medina. And this show is a West Africa show. We're on DSTV channel 278. I know we have viewers in Sierra Leone, in Liberia, in Gambia, in Nigeria. Please send us messages of your experience. In Togo as well, Burkina, Cote d'Ivoire. Send us messages so that we can also share some of your experiences with those who are here, so they can know that, hey, these are real life things. These are scenarios and artist impressions and vain imaginations of anybody, but these are real things. A couple of messages and we'll do a keep an eye. 055-556-1034. If it's you're outside Ghana, +233 and then 556-1034. Good morning, Breakfast Show. If you see something and you say you would rather be picked up, no. I asked this question. I said, how do you guarantee that people will not be victimized if they make a call to 999? And I was told that you don't have to mention your identity. In fact, somebody gave me a lead on some activities in Kaswa, and I just forwarded it to the national security people. So if you have any leads, any information, nobody's going to mention your name, nothing. Just send the information, and that's it. And your identity is safe. So please, if you see something, say so. This is good Konkonsa, national Konkonsa, good one. All right, Alec Beckson, good morning to you and your panel. Terrorists will survive here because when we see something, we will say something. I always enjoy the Thursday morning show because it's always the best. All right, good morning, Breakfast Show. Where can we get campaign flyers? I have not seen any around apart from your show. Can you share so we can share? We're going to share they are on social media. Go to our Ghana Broadcasting Corporation Facebook, and you'll see the flyers there. And those of you who are on our mailing list, the select few, we shall put it on our mailing list, all of them. Then you can share with your friends. How about that? Yeah, advantages of getting on the mailing list. Okay. Good morning. Please let your panelists pray for Ghana. Things are bad. Even feeding is a problem. Yeah, no, these are serious things. Stomach issues, pocket issues, don't joke them. Yeah, you may laugh, but it's serious. People are looking for 2 CDs. The kind of people who call you and they want 100 CDs, you'll be surprised. Yeah, so things are tough, okay? We sympathize with you and we empathize and we also help. Yeah. Border security in Ghana is essentially the responsibility of the Immigration Services and Customs from Alaji, Dawuda, Medina Estate. But we can also help them. We can also help them, okay? If you see something, say something. If you really want to fight terrorism in Ghana, unemployed youth must be given jobs. Yes, that's a big deal as well. Economic issues are a big deal. So yeah. So thank you. We like what you're saying. See something, say something. Good morning, GTV. Landlords and landladies allowing foreigners in without checking who they are. That's a... Sheikh, you have a big point. You have something to say about that?
Yeah. Because it is true. I mean, we are getting people who are coming probably with huge sums of money, and they are being accepted into our land. We don't even know their background, no check to their background. So it's a very serious matter that we must take on board. And I think I agree with the issue of government as a long-term solution to this problem. The issue of looking at employment or joblessness is a very key issue. In Nigeria, the situation that, we have what we call the Almajiri syndrome or phenomenon. The Almajiri are those young people who do not have enough. They have come from poor homes and they line up the streets of Nigeria. In fact, they sit at rest stops. Woe unto you if you are taking your tour or whatever, and maybe something happens and you just want to move about a little bit and come. They are waiting for you. The moment you make a step away, they rush and take away your food. And there are plenty. And some of them are entering into our country. And that's what they call Almajiri. Okay. And they are the easy supply to the terrorists in Nigeria. It's easy. Give them little food to eat. Let them feel comfortable. Away. Train them. Oh, like in Freetown and in Liberia. When they were being rehabilitated after the reconciliation, when you on television, you see a young boy, and they tell you, they train me, I kill.
How old is this boy?
I mean, some 12-year-old boy who has been taught how to really, skillfully use the gun and to kill at close range. He was made to behave like a beast who does not have human feeling, so he can look at you at close range and shoot at you and kill numbers. During the Sierra Leone, that's why they were able to. You see, this thing is terrible thing that we must be serious about. How the human being can look at his fellow, and then they call it long sleeves and short sleeves.
Yeah. Long sleeve.
Yeah. They look at a small boy, 1 year, child, callously, without any mercy. Cut him with a sharp implement, remove his wrist. Wow. And these young people were told that's how they were trained. They were oriented, given drugs to take, and were oriented. And now when they were brought back to senses, they were narrating their stories. And they were using their language. I kill. They teach us how to kill. I kill. So my brothers, so joblessness. Let's see how government, boosts up the private sector. Government alone will never, let us not deceive ourselves, government alone will never be able to provide jobs for everybody. And that's why the private sector need to be boosted so that,
to help
these factories that we are talking about, let's go ahead. Please, let's support the idea. Once it is good,
let's support it.
Let's support it.
Alrighty.
Any government who comes, I want to see any government who comes say one district, one factory.
Continue the thing.
Because the more you do so, the more you create opportunity for jobs.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Having said that, before you even did that, I think the kind of courses that we do in the universities now are not courses that will create jobs for you. Everybody wants to do social science. And so by the time you realize there are no jobs that will give you
English.
Yes, you just speak English language.
We need more
processing.
TVET.
Yes,
things you can do.
And then besides
Trades.
that, Ghana is 75% bare land.
So agriculture should be
so agra is what we need. And so this whole thing about oil here, diamond here, galamsey here, look, if we can go into farming, Ghana should be one of the best countries to export things. We are complaining about the rain.
I feel sad when one day I was talking, they mentioned this in Rosa cassava. We're importing cassava from China.
We import
and somebody said, oh no, it's not cassava in Rosa cassava too. So in this cassava, we don't have land in Ghana.
Reverend Sheikh, we're going to keep an eye on other issues and come back and keep an eye on security. Yes.
Burkina Faso.
Yeah, it's terrible. We want our Sabolai from Ghana, made in Ghana Sabolai. She's a made in Ghana lady, and she's going to keep an eye on made in Ghana issues. Her name is Valerie, made in Ghana. That's so.
Great.
Give us a made in Ghana smile.
Wow.
Hi guys, good morning. Welcome again to this side. So earlier we were at the Manette area looking at traffic, but then there's a road from Manette that sort of goes heads you towards the motorway, and then you join the motorway towards there, and then we hear that the road is bad after the rains, and there are bad stops, illegal bad stops on the stretch that also causes a lot of discomfort for users of that stretch. Guy J is on that stretch and he brings us a report. Good morning, Jay. Thankfully your cup is not in hand. What can you report? What's happening?
Thank you so much, Val. That was just to warm me up. You realize I'm not wearing my spectacles. I don't have wipers on them, so I have to take them off. The rain is still trying to worry us a bit. So we're here on the Tema motorway, which is supposed to be the fastest route from Accra to Tema, or perhaps from Tema to Accra. But apparently, sometimes it's not a situation. That's because what happens is there are some bus stops along the motorway where pedestrians board vehicles, and sometimes vehicles drop off their passengers, and sometimes this is what stalls traffic situations on the motorway. You may be going somewhere and you think that, oh, you'll make it within a set period of time. What happens is, because of these makeshift bus stops along the motorway, it's not just here at Manette. You find that there are examples of it at the Ashama and the Bridge. Then there's also some around the Accra Mall, Action Chapel area. And you find pedestrians crossing all over the place, and this is what stalls traffic. So imagine vehicles speeding, and then pedestrians come in and be like, they should slow down. And that's the situation you see at the moment. Sometimes the commercial vehicles here who are parked and waiting to board passengers going towards their various destinations. So earlier, if you notice, when we are at Manette, for those, and that road, I must say, is quite terrible. And because it rained earlier, it's even worsened the situation. So you see them coming from there, and then they come to board the vehicles here, and some of them are going towards Accra. So they also cross the road. I don't know if I should say the road. They cross the motorway at such a high speed, with the rate of speed that the cars are coming with, and then they slow them down, and then they cross the road to the other side. And you notice that when it's rush hour like this, for those who are coming from Tema, and when they get to this side, it creates traffic for them. Standing here this morning, there have been quite a few dangerous situations. You see the cars honking their horns because the vehicles want to join the road. Pedestrians have slowed them down. They want to cross. It's just a dangerous situation here. And you notice that even though there's rainfall, there's rain on the road, how wet the road is, the vehicles are also speeding. So as a sidebar, I just want to caution motorists who are driving on the motorway that there's less friction on the road, so if they could just slow down. And of course, these people are also crossing haphazardly, so they should just slow down and then watch their speed, so nothing nothing dangerous happens. On the other side of the road, you see the same kind of situation, which is over here. This is where the pedestrians stand, and then they slow down the vehicles so they can cross to this side. And this once again, this is not the only place where it happens. You find these makeshift bus stops along the motorway, and there's even a station just around here. So when they get down, based on whether they are going to East Legon, they just get into a taxi and then they go. So it's like a thriving business. And because Spintex is just over here, and a number of businesses on that stretch as well, we are requesting that the roads and highways, if they can create a layoff for the vehicles instead of the dangerous situation we have at hand at the moment. And I don't know if it will be quite a good recommendation to say there should be a footbridge across the motorway, so that pedestrians you see crossing at the moment, they will just pass over the bridge and come, or they avoid this side completely. You can see how dangerous it is for them. The rate of speed the vehicles are coming with, and then they are also crossing. They have to go to work, and this is the place that they have. So we pray that they make the layoff, create such a place where the vehicles can stop, a safe one for them, and then it will stop causing the traffic. And sometimes these accidents we hear of, sometimes they slow them down, somebody's not able to stop in time, and that's when something else happens. So there's a situation here at the Tema motorway from the Manet side of things. And also the policemen here monitoring affairs. I don't know what exactly they are doing, but hey, it is what it is. So from here, back to you, Val, in the studio.
Right, thank you, Jay, for that report. So on the motorway, I think top of my head, there are like 4 or 5 illegal bus stops on both sides of the Accra Tema motorway, and it's really, really dangerous. The last time I said it here on air, a woman came so close to the road with her children and forced everybody to stop, and she brought the children to the side towards the approaching vehicle. It's really, 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 really a dangerous situation on the motorway. It's daily, it's daily, guys. The hashtag to follow GTV Breakfast. We have we have messages on our screens, lots of messages popping up. Everybody's interested. So hey, Kaf, handing over to you.
Thank you very much. I like we have screens on our messages. I like that one.
Why? Why did they do so?
No, I like that one. We have screens on our messages. I like that one. Every mistake is a what?
Oh, why did they do so?
Why did they do so? Screens under schools, screens under messages. Nice one. Thank you very much, Val. I like pulling her legs. Good morning, breakfast show. I really like the contribution of my students, but I say something needs to be taught in schools.
Okay.
Yes, for students to have knowledge about it, especially our kids. Breakfast show. Those kids at our airports and roadsides begging for money, can't someone give them 10 cedis for them to dispose bombs and other explosives? See something. So these are leads that the public is getting. And I hope the national security guys are checking this. Sheikh is on point. Some of them are on the Medina footbridge and other parts of Accra. As far as they are jobless, they are easily initiated by the bad guys. Thanks, Dr. Lawrence. Rwanda relies on agriculture exports to boost their economy. Good morning. How do we check those entering Ghana from Mali, Burkina, etc. to come and sell cola nut, blender, etc. in our neighborhoods? How will we know if they are doing recon assignments? Yeah. Before the RUF of Fode Sanko enters Freetown, his men were already living amongst the people. Let's be vigilant on our borders. Kobe reaching us from UK. Somebody says it's true in the studio. So things are happening. Good morning to your panelists for the good work you're doing for Mother Ghana. Watching from Ejisu, one of my favorite places in this country. If we see something, we'll say something. How effective this campaign be? Let the campaign start. We know start safe. We don't start safe, lad. Sure, but GD, it's only 2 days. Hope the campaign will be a 9 days one. At least let the 9 days pass. It's only day 2 or day 3. Let 9 days pass first. Let's not pour sand into the Gary or Gary into the sand if the Valerie are going to say. Don't put sand into the Gary before we've even eaten the food, okay? Hope God bless your panelists for their wonderful idea. But I understand you, Adam. You don't want it to just be a 9-day wonder. Yeah, but let the 9 days pass first. Please, what's the way forward for the school feeding? Okay, all right. Now you're coming back to issues of food. And then there's a motorway story here. When the motorway was constructed, the population was not too much. But now the population has increased. They should think and create a bus stop. Please, no bus stops on the motorway. The motorway is supposed to be 100 kilometers per hour. Reverend, I'm sure you've been on the German one.
In fact,
where there's no speed limit.
Autobahn.
No speed limit.
Autobahn, no speed limit. So when accidents happen there,
nearest my God is
terrible. Terrible.
All right, if government can't fight corruption, how do they protect the country from terror attacks? So you're bringing the issues in. Let's fight corruption. Let's get jobs. And basically, those are your messages. But I want to get one big story more before Thelma and her crew come in. So I'm just going to go back to my seat. And this one has to do with demolition. So the president says buildings on waterways should be demolished. He has ordered MMDAs, Metropolitan, Municipal and District Assemblies. This was at the unveiling of modern dredges of dredge masters. So the president has given them green light. Bring them down. Do you remember times when the Kole and the Odo and all the lagoons actually worked? Yes. Can you still remember? Can you paint a picture of how those places used to be before now? Rev?
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
You remember those days?
I do.
Why has your voice come down like that?
I'm very sad.
You're sad?
Yeah. You know, we take for granted our environment. And this is what has increased cholera and certain sickness still. We have a responsibility. Even the things we thrown into the drain and where the drains are and how it's handled, we are all contributing to this. And sometimes, instead of us to look at it, we over-politicize it. An NDC person wants to drain it, NPP has an issue with it. NPP person wants to drain it, and it has problem with it. And because of that, we are not able. You know, if you look at, I've lived in Budapest. I've lived in London. And I've lived by the water. Coincidentally, both Budapest and the UK. I've had the chance to live by the River Thames in the UK, in London. And remember, Budapest is a twin city. The river divides into Buda and Pest. Buda is the hilly part, and Pest is the lower part. So the river Danube divided into two. The water is treated. Clean. It's so clean, you can go, it becomes a tourist attraction. This Odo used to be a river. When I were little, I've swum in Odo before. For real, I have swum in Odo River before, I can tell you that.
Don't try it now.
No. You see, so in the 60s and the early 70s,
you actually swam in Odo?
I did, you can quote me anywhere. You see, so what Odo has become now is very sad. It's very sad. So we are all part of it. Today, in fact, it's the most dirtiest, and from that side straight to the lagoon, which is supposed to be a tourist attraction rather, is the most filthiest part, unhealthiest part. So we should get it. So so this issue of getting rid of things, and people are very unreasonable. We as a people should learn to be reasonable enough to know that if you build, most of this flood we are seeing in Ghana is a result of buildings being built at wrong places. And we're not demarcating at all. And I must say, our politicians are the main problem. Because when you go to land commission and the commissioner doesn't sign, and some big man calls, they sign for a land.
Order from above.
So when it becomes an order from above, people's hands are tied. And of course, you don't want to be fired. And so we need to wake up from certain attitude. Most of the floods we are seeing in Accra can be prevented. I'll give you an example. An auntie of mine called me in the greater estate area that their house was flooded. And so I took a call. And fortunately, I know the chief fire officer. So I called him. I called Brahma, my other brother who was also there. And the fire service couldn't enter.
No way.
Because the places they can enter from far
have been built
on it. In fact, so the following day I got very upset and I was finding out with my brother, what is happening? He said, look, when they got the place they can go through, wrong place has been. So even though the Google map directed them all right, somebody has booked somewhere to block the place. And so we are our own problem. And let us learn to get to that place where demarcations can be done, where the town planning must be properly done, so that the effects of what we want will be seen and experienced by all.
Okay, before I bring you in, Sheikh, I want to just go back to Valerie. Alan has a report that he wants to give us. Keep an eye. Valerie, take it over.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I'm back again. This time we are with Alan at the SCC. At the SCC is an area between Kaswa and Wager. Alan is telling me in my ear, and per the directive that all structures on waterways be pulled down, we are looking at this area because it's really bad. After the rains, it's really bad. Alan is on my beat and he should be on our screens shortly. You can join the conversation. What do you think about what's happening with the flooding issues? Do you have any solutions, lasting solutions? And what do you think about the structures that are going to be pulled down? And do you have any videos you can share, pictures you can share with us? Do that to us on our WhatsApp number, 05555 Alan?
No, we're not using the...
Yes, he is. And so that's Alan. He's getting ready, guys. He's getting ready. Meanwhile, yes, we still have conversations. When Ka finishes the headline, we are on now, Alan. And I believe you can see us. What's happening?
Hey, hi, good morning, Valerie. Welcome to SEC around Kaswa. It's a gloomy, rainy morning, and so it seems as if everything is working against us this morning. The weather, the condition, ground and up everywhere. Anyway, what you can see behind me currently is 3-4 days after downpour water sitting there, making becoming a one-lane road. If that is your road is a bit higher above the ground, then you can use slightly to the middle, sitting with water all over it. Indeed, if you look at this morning's Ghanaian Times, the front page of this morning's Ghanaian Times, what you had was a directive from the presidency directing MMDEs to make sure they pull down all buildings on waterways. And so if I pan to my right, what you have up out here is that all the way from as far as my eyes can see, immediately you go past the Wager traffic light and you're making your way towards SCC. You have a parade of buildings lined up to the side of the road, and these buildings are all slowly sinking. In fact, some of them have been abandoned because of the amount of water that perennially come into their homes. These also sit on the waterway as they are, and they make the amount of water that comes from uphill, from the mountains all the way down into the main drains, very much impossible to have their way through, and so they meander through some other properties and thereby flooding those properties. One interesting thing though, earlier on as I sent out the video, if we have it as an insert, one thing is how the drain out here is so built so that the amount of water that should freely go isn't having that free flow to go into the main drains. Another thing is the concrete nature of that drain is such that once the volume of water coming from uphill comes down, it becomes seemingly impossible to have that much water going through, and so again it spills and overflows onto the road. I'm currently standing at the edge of the drain, and what you can't see, my cameraman will try and come closer and possibly give you a good view of that. It is very impossible for the amount or the volume of water that comes from uphill from behind me to be able to flow freely through these drains and make their way out. Indeed, this side of the drain clearly is an afterthought. You don't have to be an engineer to see that it is an afterthought, because the one to my left used to be the old drain which would collect water through this concrete culvert, but the concrete is so very up high above the ground such that if the water gets there it won't be able to go through. But then if you look left, if you look to my right, what you have is somebody cleverly punching a hole through the culvert. This drain, we're told, comes all the way from the West Hills Mall and makes its way downstream and then meets the river down there somewhere. But because of this afterthought of a drain construction, they have to punch a hole into the culvert in order to allow the water to flow. It is not necessarily the fault of whoever shows this kind of ingenuity. What it is the fault of planning. The fault of planning in this country, where we allow people to put up buildings in waterways indiscriminately, and therefore with so much disregard to how that will affect other neighbors, they just put up their buildings. And so you have, as I mentioned earlier, on this particular stretch of road, this very building, once again my camera will go up and pick up this building for us. It sits right next to the road. It has been completely abandoned. It has just completely been abandoned. There's no occupant in these buildings, and it goes all the way up towards, as far as my eyes can see. If you know this very road very well, I'm standing in between this house and one famous business entity next to us. Obviously, you don't want to mention no names just so you're cited for whatever you have said or have not said. But then it sits next to a very well-known business entity on this road. And this morning when we arrived on site, they had a JCB working on the compound, shifting sand because the rainwater brought so much sand into their premises. And so they have to be shifting this water out from here in order to make way for their clients or their employees to access their premises. The amount of water sitting on here, and given that the rain is still pouring, I'm sure we'll be in for the long haul, in which case somebody will have to be ingenious once again. This drain, the very one on which I am standing currently, is completely blocked.
there is no sign or sight of water flowing through this drain, and it is the major contributing factor to the water you see sitting behind me. If these drains were free and flowing and are not choked with sand, this is filled completely with sand, and that is why the water is unable to go through the drains, and thereby flooding the homes and houses along this stretch of road. You can also see the traffic is again meandering to become a one-lane traffic, as I mentioned earlier. You must have a bigger lorry or a tipper truck to be able to use 2 lanes. This bus, if I don't shift away from the side of the road, will definitely have me under some water. It will have me under some water. Yes, a sinister driver as such. Anyway, this so far is the situation out here this rainy morning, and this is Keep an Eye coming to you from SCC near Weja and in between Weja and Kaswa. Thank you very much, Valerie, for joining us.
Thank you, Alan, for that report. Charlie, if you don't have anywhere to go, just stay home. Just stay home. Just stay home, so that there will be less cars on the road for people to actually clear the road. Just stay home. The hashtag to follow us online is GTV Breakfast. I'm handing over to Kaf, where we have some messages on our screens. Kaf?
Yes, we're going to wrap it up with the messages.
Yes,
it's a combination of security and flooding. So let's
right.
go. Foreigners enter Ghana too easily. When you enter into a neighboring countries like Togo, you will know you are in a different place. Don't mess around in Togo. They won't allow that to happen to you. Good morning, GTV. Bus stops need to be created to take care of the needs of people. Good morning to you and your wonderful panelists. Thank you so much. Good morning, breakfast. My problem is we are all discussing terrorism in Ghana, but we haven't looked at the situation where we have allowed foreigners to enter and become beggars on the streets of this country. The nail cutters, are they not a threat to national security? Moreover, there are some foreigners carrying cutlasses and hoes on the streets. Yeah. So security agents must take it seriously. More education in every corner every day will help. Please, government should encourage citizens to install CCTV cameras in their homes and institutions. It will help in security. Thank you so much. Those children sitting by the roadside begging for arms, have we found out how they got into the country? That's how terrorism starts. They bring them in as such for many years, and then boom. You are saying why we blame politicians? We should also blame the so-called men of God and chief imams. They are imams. They are part of the problems in Ghana. Explain why. I'm sure you get pushback all the time. It's normal to you, eh?
There are people who just want to hear their own voice. So this one doesn't add up. Because we want to create solutions. It's okay. People sit in the comfort of their room and they have the right to speak. It's all part of it.
In some other countries, the old men are on top of their game. You see them peeping through the windows. The next minute, you see them calling police. The agent too should be trained or be part of the see something, say something. Good idea. Good job, GTV. Good morning. The flooding is not being taken seriously. Same thing happened last year. Nanado told the MMDCs. MMDC also told the assemblymen. Assemblymen also gave announcement to Information Center. And early morning, Information Center will first preach and sing gospel songs, and you hear Aku, 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 Ade from Popiasi. Kafui, the Odo River used to be our swimming pool, says Mount Isalasi Chachu Kwashi. I know Chachu is a second son, because I'm also a Chachu. For Ghana to work, the politicians should leave the technocrats to implement the policies and the formulation instead of sitting on them to do their wishes. What is the literate population in Ghana? How many people use smartphones? The flyers must rather be educated to give to the masses rather to the literate few. Well, there's a TV campaign, there's going to be radio as well. So it's a multi-system approach. Couple more. Come on, breakfast show. The lagoon and rivers in Accra are being filled and used as chop bars, garages, and any other things you can think of. Nungwa First Junction, Teshi Bush Road, examples are there. What Reverend Dr. Tete is saying about Odo River, it's true. When I was in primary school, some few meters of Caprice, or Caprice, we call it Caprice in Ghana, but it's actually Caprice. But hey, Caprice, so that you know what we're talking about. We go there to watch the river flowing in the serene environment. We called it Alajo Sea. Wow. And it was situated in a forest. A forest. Some people run away from school to swim. Were you one of those people? Did you run away to go and swim? Reverend, any confessions? Did you run away to go and swim from school?
I think weekends. We did that weekends. My father was very particular about we going to school. And at that time, we had relatives in Aveno. And so it was normal that we go weekends and then we can jump into it. And so, I mean, today I look at it and it's a very sad
It's a sad thing. That's why your voice was really low.
Yeah.
Kwame Nkrumah, in his own wisdom, wanted to direct the Korle Odo River all the way up to Nsawam, part of his 7-year development plan. Let's go back to that to solve our craft flooding. Our use of waterways, the bane of our predicament. Let's value and respect nature, especially our water bodies. Esoterically, it's the reason why we suffer. God resides in nature. Be warned. That's a spiritual warning there. Good morning, Kaf, to you and your team. Can you ask Sheikh to explain the concept of jihadism and terrorism in Islam? Because evil people use these teachings to convince some of our Muslim brothers and sisters into these acts. I just want to see knowledge here. So what is jihadism?
So jihad is to exert. Exert. Now it involves activities that are intended to extend the message of Islam. But because there was a time when there were armed clashes, that was also given that kind of tag. But we need to educate our people to understand Islam does not have, I want to say this specifically, Islam has no agenda to take over the world politically. But Islam has an agenda to extend its message through persuasion to whichever parts of the world where people can understand. So this idea of thinking that to fight, to spread Islam, you have to use the sword is wrong. It's wrong. I think that's where the misunderstanding is coming from.
Okay. We end it right here on GTV Breakfast. Gentlemen.
I think I want to make a suggestion.
Yes.
This security thing that we're talking about, the song, I like this, like you said, I like the song, but it's too melodious. It's too melodious for my ears for such a matter. But if you say, Amanfwe won't say, if you are saying, and why do you put it this way and a fancy person is speaking? I mean, he gets it down to...
And put it in different languages.
In different languages.
You want to be more
a bit of, that
drama.
Raises people's, The ones who begin, ken, Amanfwe won't say, if you are saying, why,
That's no brief message there. When you are recording your announcement, that's how you should do it.
And to say different age gaps. So there are some lyrics that are not for certain age gaps, and this thing must be for all and sundry.
Yeah.
So we must create a balance.
All righty, gentlemen. It's always a great conversation with you on Thursdays.
Yes,
wish you the well. Regards to the old man.
Thank you.
And Reverend Doctor.
I think we are meeting them on Tuesday. Eh?
Yes. Tuesday, yes, we have an
Please
appointment.
don't get other people to come and
I will arrange.
mess up and
You definitely
we and the chief imam.
We're one-on-one. We'll be there. Thank you so much. Gentlemen, thanks. It's always
Thanks very much.
This is GTV Breakfast. We have a conversation on the pulling down of buildings in waterways. Fella sits down with her guests for that conversation. You stay with us. Do not go anywhere. This is GTV Breakfast, your favorite way to wake up in the morning and get all the information and education that you need. See you after this.
GTV. You've missed quite a bit already. We've had breakfast news and we've had some food by way of breakfast. So check out our social media handles for all the scenes and the views of what you've missed so far, or catch a repeat of this show at 11 p.m. tonight on GTV. And on this segment today, we are talking about the floods. And incidentally, this morning we've had some rains as well. And our guys have been on the ground telling us what the situation looks like out there, outside the studios and outside Kanda, where GBC is located. And I'm referring to the collective fight to bring this problem to a barest minimum. Is that even possible? The president has directed all MMDAs, Metropolitan Municipal and District Assemblies, to put efforts into pulling down illegal structures that have been built on waterways. And we are asking the question, can they do it? This morning we are going to interrogate this matter. And at the table with me is Mr. Frederick Ejako Odro. He's the Dean, Management Development and Training at the Institute of Local Government Studies. Mr. Odro, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Thelma.
And on Zoom, Engineer Abdullahi Mahama will be joining us, and he is a road and building consultant. He will be lending his expertise to this conversation as well. Good morning, Mr. Mahama. Great, thank you for joining us. Now, we've heard the president make the call on MMDAs to go out there and get this done. So let's first start with the president's directive, and then we'll continue the rest of the conversation. GTV Breakfast.
Have been charged to ensure the obstructions to the free flow of water, as well as developments along waterways, are removed immediately. MMDAs are also to ensure the strict adherence of developers to the planning laws of our country and sanction staff who have issued permits for structures to be built on waterways to serve as a deterrent to others who seek to engage in such acts. To ensure these directives are strictly complied with, I have established a monitoring unit at Jubilee House that will be reporting directly to me on the progress of the implementation of these measures. I'm thus putting all MMDCs on notice. You will be held accountable for any breaches that result in damage from flooding. As President of the Republic, I will not allow the selfish acts of a few to jeopardize the collective futures of the rest of us.
President Akufo-Addo there. So a clear directive to fix a part of what is a larger problem that the country has had to deal with for over 60 years, and the papers have also carried portions of that story. Mr. Joe, perhaps I'll start with you. You're into local government. Do you think this call and this power falls squarely within the remit of the MMDAs, and will they have the courage to do it, do you think?
It squarely falls in their remit. I mean, if you look into the Local Governance Act, Section 91 onwards, clearly spelled out these functions. And again, if they won't do it, then what's the essence of their being there? Point is that half of the time in this country, we have so many laws that can solve so many of our problems. But the challenge is for people put in positions to carry out certain duties, failing to do some of these things. Now, if you have the president of the land telling you, do this, but I cast my mind back, I think somewhere in the 2003, 2004. I remember Honorable Kwame Abatels was the Minister for Works and Housing. And he came out, oh, I will bring down all these things, and nothing came of it. We've seen challenge, even as far as last year, just last year into this year, the Greater Accra Regional Minister, he started acting actively intending to stop some of this. He's done quite well in certain areas. Medina now, the traffic is flowing because of Omolokin. But then, you look at even some comments coming from people in his own party. I know it's not going to be easy, but I think it is the responsibility of the MMDs and the backstops to the chief executives. We must put the searchlight on them and insist they do what is expected of them. The law backs them, because the law says, Section 91 of the Local Governance Act is clear. It says, if you must undertake any development, you must get the permission. And if you go to Section 94, it says, it indicates that if anybody undertakes a development without permit, or they don't follow the permit that has been given to them, and the assembly has got the power to even remove it.
Here's a situation that even for some of these buildings, and not all, but for some of them, you would find that they do have permits to put up such buildings, and you wonder how they came by these these documents.
I was very happy with a comment made by the president. He said that even some staff of the assemblies may have given out permits illegally. You see, in law, if you do anything illegal, it voids the whole thing. You may have a permit, but the permit is illegal because it's not within the planning scheme of the assembly. The place is obviously a waterway, and then you are given that out. Somebody gives you the permit, to even if a chief executive gives you the permit, it's still illegal because that's not where it's supposed to be. So it makes whatever you are holding voidable. And I remember in the speech of the president, he was saying that they should sanction those staff who are responsible for that. Indeed, there are situations like that. And I think now we must not just pay lip service to some of these things. Action must be taken.
How do we go about identifying those who are allowing these loopholes in the system to be exploited?
I mean, if we are going to do it, it's easy, because every assembly should have a planning scheme for its area, and within the planning scheme they have demarcations indicating what should be where. So if obvious, you see, sometimes we live in the communities, we move about in the city. You get to a place, you see a particular building, nobody needs telling you that this should not be there.
But chances are the land doesn't belong to you, so the owners of the land may have given them out for some use.
See, the ownership of the land has nothing to do with the planning scheme. That is the prerogative of the assembly. The assembly decides where lands, the physical development of the area. And the assembly will determine which side should be a road and which side should be a residential area and the likes. So if you are the owner of the land and you use your land for a purpose that has not been determined by the assembly has the power to remove it. That's why even after buying a piece of land, you go to the assembly, the fiscal planning department, what used to be the town council planning. You go to that department, you make an application and indicate, I'm going to put up this house. Now, not too long ago, we've developed a building code in this country. And it is the responsibility of the assembly to ensure that people even abide by the building code. You see, we talk about rents. Let me just chip this in. I believe the engineer may speak to it. Look at the type of building we are putting up in our city. Now, we have so much running water when it rains. Why? We are failing even to leave portions in our house that we can even put plants there. We are now using tiles. We are tiling the compounds of houses.
Concrete.
Even concrete is easier. Tiles. People are putting tiles in their yards. In their compound. So every rain that falls must go away. But if we are leaving places, if we are putting some plants in the houses, at least part of the rain that comes will even sink
into the soil. But now everything must run off. So all these things, the assembly has a responsibility within the building code to ensure that even when you are putting up your house, the assembly can indicate that you can't put concrete everywhere in the house. These are all things that we need to be looking at.
Let's bring Engineer Abdullahi Mahama into the conversation. Abdullahi, you've listened to some of the submissions. This week we've had a conversation on flooding already, and we had the EPA here who had their own ideas about where you think the gaps and the lapses in the system are. What, in your opinion, do you think are the reasons why we keep experiencing these things annually, and why haven't we been able to find the solutions that matter?
Well, good morning to your cherished viewers. I must say that my senior colleague in the studio has done justice to a lot of the issues that is on the table for discussion. I am saddened. I'm not the president of the land, but I would want your cherished viewers to take a careful glance at some few things that I've been posting on my Twitter handle over the past few years. For last 2 months, I think on the 29th day of March, I tweeted on my Twitter handle that I personally went on an inspection on one of the potential time-taking bombs that we are about to witness in Ghana on the Wager Hills. I'll come to the few things, but I don't want to forget about this. And I posted by preempting that this year we may have the biggest of the mudslide covering our highway, i.e. the Malankaswa Road. And if the rain should sustain for more than 72 hours, for the first time, we're going to have the two bound carriageways, i.e. the one going to Kaswa or Winneba and the one coming to Accra, to be completely blocked. And that is where we're going to find out that we have been sitting on a time bomb indeed. There's been a documentary about 2 years ago that myself, a seismologist, and an ADMO coordinating directors were part. And I kept on warning that whatever happened in Sierra Leone will be having double the same thing that would be experienced about 3 years ago. That took over 400 lives. For the first time, on Saturday, the 21st day of May, we witnessed an unprecedented mudslide on the Wages portion, even though we've been having some deposition of silt on the road. Within a matter of some few hours, it is cleared by even individuals with the shovels and things. But for the first time, for over 48 hours to 72 hours, the Accra portion was completely blocked of traffic, and that is another warning. And I retweeted by saying that is even just a comedy. We are yet to experience what is going to be so devastating to the country. People who are going to go to Winneba or Kaswa have to come from Accra to Amasaman and connect to the back of Kaswa, or they'll come to Nsawam, connect through Adeso, get to Bojuasi, get to Akwili, and get to Swedu or get to Kaswa before they continue their journey. That is going to be a tolling thing on the country. Now let's look at what the president said yesterday. So that one is there. So you just take and confirm to your viewers at Mahama_Abdullahi. I am just concerned about the built environment, and for the past 8 years, all that I keep on hammering on is how we are supposed to ensure that we create a conducive atmosphere for our floods and other potential hazards. Now, whatever the president said, however important it is, to my view, it is needless. It is something that is like you are in a school where a trained teacher comes to school every time and sits in the staff room and wouldn't go and teach, knowing that he has a class, and has to take the headmaster to come and tell the teacher that go and teach class 1, otherwise they will not be understand whatever it is, or they will fail their exams. The laws are so explicit. There is the Land Use and Spatial Planning Act 925 passed in 2016. There is the National Building Regulation LI 1630 in 1996. 2016. Let me just paraphrase what the president rehashed. And before that, like I said, I'm not a president. Last week, I stated, and it was carried across all the media portals, that the engineers and planners at the assemblies, the technical assemblies, may be sanctioned. Government should focus its attention and looking at where, if anybody has put any building in a waterway, and when they go to check the document or the permit, and it has been duly signed by the assembly, those people who are signatories to the signage or the document have to be searched, sent through the process, the due process, and if they are found to have committed offense, be jailed or be fined. Because the Land Use Development Act of 2016, the first requirement under 113, the permit, is that a person shall not undertake any physical development of a land within a district unless that person has been issued with a permit by the district assembly within the jurisdiction in which the land is situated. That is the first requirement that each and every individual needs to go through. And these are laws which are on the tables of the assembly. Now, if the assembly have not given you permits and the person goes ahead and start the construction, the same act has a remedy to the solution. Now, you go to the Act 121 on authorized development of right of space of community. And let me just quote that one. It said, an authorized officer, in this case the assembly, may without notice effect or carry out instant prohibition. Instant. So whatever the president was saying, I'm sure that you might have drawn the narrative from here. Instant prohibition, abatement, alteration, removal or demolition of an unauthorized development, if that breach is creating an environmental nuisance as defined in an enactment relating to the environment or interferes with the use of public right of space. This is so common and explicit. So the president didn't have to come and tell the MMDCs, the planning, the West Committee or the Technical Committee at the Assembly what they ought to do from 2016 when this amendment was taken to Parliament and approved.
But surely, in the light of recent events, Abdullahi, in the light of recent events, if the president deems fit to remind people to be more up and doing, considering the extent of damage and the loss to lives and property, it would be within a reason for him to make that call, even if it's only as a wake-up for those in charge to be on top of their game.
I don't buy it. The people at the assembly are taking fast salaries paid by you and I. They have, this is the only thing they are supposed to do at the assembly, especially the technocrats. They are supposed to make sure that buildings are situated within their zonal status. I mean, they have been doing the zones. They segment locations where type, let's say, this is an industrial hub, this is a school area, this is a playing ground, this is a market area, this is a domestic platform, or let me say, catchment area. So this is your basic duty as technocrats at the assembly. So why are they moving to work and fro every single day, claiming to be working? The president doesn't have to come and remind people when every day, when we're in the rainy season, people are losing their lives, properties and lives are lost every single time.
So perhaps I'll ask you the same question I asked Mr. Ojo. Do you see the assemblies being up to the task, considering, as you've alluded, there are legal issues involved and the assemblies may well be found to be complacent in these matters? Do you think they would have the tenacity to carry out this directive?
There are sections in their law that even tells them or that directs them that in the event that recalcitrant developers are not heeding to their directives, you see, they don't just stand up and go to court. When they see any development, they'll come and just say, stop work, policemen, or they invite you to the assembly. When you fail to attend, then they would go and then issue a warrant, more or less, to send you to the court, the magistrate or the whichever court available within the district. And at that time, you are compelled to come to the law court with your documents. And if you are found not to have documents which are in consonance or in conformity with the bylaws, then the court will take its course, and they will ensure that once they're being directed from the port, they would act. But if they decide not to even take the person on, they are the ones who are responsible for most of the development, the unapproved development in the country. But I know that if you want to hold the bull by the horn and start to act and act well, there are a lot of planners or technocrats at the assemblies whose hands are also tight. If you want to work in the country and be seen to be working and act because of the dangers we are beginning to experience, the most influential people and then the heads that who's the MMDCs must leave the technocrats to advise them and then take it on.
It's not all
there are
well
many
and
times
good.
that
Abdullahi, I've heard some who have suggested that the very layout of the city is the problem. It's not necessarily about dumping of refuse, and it's not necessarily about all these things that we've told ourselves consistently, the dredging and the desilting of the waters that would solve the problem. The suggestion is that because it is a natural phenomenon and because there are certain procedures that should be followed which haven't been fundamentally followed from the beginning, all these things, so desilting and removing the buildings from the waterways would just help a little bit, but it will not completely eliminate the problem of flooding. You're an engineer. What do you think about these suggestions?
It's going to help significantly. Accra, admittedly, is a low-lying area, and GBC is a house of records. And I will implore you that what I said about our social media handles, you have time and go through about the past 3-4 years and see what we've been talking about. Admittedly, the odor, like what I said yesterday on one of the sister stations, that the odor is filled with about 60 to 70% of silt. The floating object on the odor is very small, say within 5%. So if it rains and nobody carries silt into the drain, and you have reduced the capacity of the odor by over 70%, that cannot be an indiscipline issue from the citizenry. In 2019, precisely 15th April, the then Sector Minister of Sanitation, Sisa Bedapa, was given 197 million Ghana cedis for the dredging and expansion. Now, I have sustained a certain advocacy or campaign that we are sinking money down the drain by not performing the needful. If you just go past the Caprice and you get to Abofu, where we have the media center, the whole area, which is a storm drain about 20 meters wide, over 25 of the slabs have collapsed for the past 7 to 8 years that have been hammering on. Not even one of the slabs had been repaired. So obviously, when the concrete line had collapsed, a section of it had collapsed, and it is eroding the sand as the water is coming with that velocity, right from Bikusu, right from Kwabinya, right from Tommy, and you have not lined the drain, and you are periodically desilting the odor, at the source of discharge, you are not performing the function. And some of us have been sustaining this education, and it's only better that government start to listen to us, otherwise the person is going to hide. Let me give you this one.
Okay, a quick one. I need to bring Mr. Ojo in here. A quick one, and then we get on to other questions.
Okay, there are 4 connectivity to Accra: Makati Hills area, Pokwase Masaman, Brekuso, and Kitasi area. Ayimensa to Peduase. Now go and find out what is happening on the escarpment. Almost all the vegetation cover has been removed for construction. And once you start to remove all the vegetation cover on top of the mountain, and you show the areas underneath the mountain, Professor Mamu spoke about this about 30 years ago in his book, that when it rains around Ayimensa, Peduase, Kitase, Pokwase area, and Amasaman, it takes about 72 hours before the rains get to Accra, the runoff. But now, that status has changed. Within 30 minutes after rain, you'll be in Accra and you'll be receiving torrential runoff. And I said last year that it will get to a time in Ghana that there will not be rains in Accra, but Accra will flood, because we have ignored the source of the problem upstream, and we are tackling the problem downstream. That is not going to help us in this country.
Let me bring Mr. Odo into the call. You've heard your co-panelists speaking very passionately about the problems. Do you think that what we are seeing now, seeing parts of Accra which previously was not even flooding, now getting those waters at high levels, should we blame that on our building design, our design of roads, attitudes? Where should we really place the focus? It's been years in the making, and yet it seems like we're still in square one.
I think there is an engineering challenge there, but there's also attitudinal issues. I mean, I'm very happy you made mention of some of the hills around us, that we are moving all the vegetative cover over the period. Now we know, I mean, if you look at the road, Kaswa Road issue, why are we getting landslides? If we were having cover on it, I mean, if you're having greenery on it, there wouldn't be any landslides. But then we have taken over every piece of land for development. And it comes back to who gives out the land for the development. Again, let me insist that the fact that you own a piece of land does not give you the power to decide what should be done on that land. That is the preserve of the assembly. Indeed, I'm very happy he's made mention of these sources of the water that comes into the city. But again, as the people, attitude is also an issue. Let's look at the odor. Yes, salt will be in there, but even sachet water wrappers,
plastics
in general. I mean, it's an international problem now, because the amount of plastic that goes into the sea, they start from lagoons and river bodies that flow into the sea. It should tell us that it is not only a question of salt. I do agree. I mean, he's made cogent points as to the sources, but then our individual attitude. How many times have we not seen people throwing rubbish into the drains when it's raining? So these are serious issues that we must also contend with as a people. It is not one size, it's not just one issue. There are a myriad of issues that we must deal with. There is the engineering issue that we should talk about. I mean, this might not sound good. I always look at Circle, and I remember we had a Circle fire, I think
5 years ago.
2014, I think.
2015.
And then 2016, on the anniversary, the first anniversary of the incident, I remember the mayor of Accra making a proclamation, never again should we experience what happened in the country. The following day, it rained and there was flooding. I asked myself, we've done very well by putting up such an important infrastructure, the interchange. I get worried that as part of the interchange, we couldn't solve a major problem of flooding in the area.
The president reminded us yesterday that government has spent 450 million on the flood control program in major flood-prone areas in Accra, such as the Odo drainage channel, and he spoke about the phases of the Accra Sanitary Sewer and stormwater alleviation project intended to ensure that the Odo channel is free of silt and debris, which was partly cited as a reason why it overflowed to the levels it did in the flooding situations in the June 3rd and then other flooding situations. Do you think that those monies have been beneficial to us in about, if not to even eliminate the problem entirely, has brought us some relief?
I mean, for as long as there continues to be flooding, I don't see the relief we are looking at. The Alajo storm drain was built in the 2000s, I mean 2003, 2004, thereabouts. They used not to, we didn't even have the storm drain. We've had a storm drain, the problem is there. We've had the interchange.
But Alajo doesn't get the volumes of water that it used to, like in the days of...
Vehicles are now entering the drain, the storm drain. The floods are so heavy that they carry vehicles into the storm drain. We've seen pictures of some of these things. My point is that there must be a holistic review of this whole thing. That's why I'm saying now that we've changed our lifestyle. Development, I mean, the peri-urban areas have now become urbanized. What used to be outskirts of Accra, I mean, your earlier panels, Dr. Lawrence was referring to, or I think it was somebody who
sent a message
talking about the Alajo area being a forest area. Now, we've become highly urbanized. So we need to sit down as a country and have a holistic look at this whole thing. I think there's an aspect that has got to do with engineering. I believe the aspect that has to do with us as a people. There is also the need for people who are paid to do their job, to do it. So unless we do all these things together, we may solve part of the problem today, like when the storm drains were built. We thought it was the end of the matter.
So here's one in particular that we came across this morning. Alan brought us that report from the Wager area, and you were seeing those visuals on your screens a few seconds ago. Mr. Jacko, you were here when we were showing some of these scenes. Just look at where that house is sited, and the attempt to create a waterway just at the side. And if you looked at the previous shot, you could just see the level of the water when it rained and it had marked that wall there. It makes you wonder how the assembly can manage situations like this, and that's why I keep asking, do they have the courage to pull down a building like this? Mind you, if it comes to ownership of the building, and then the powers that are perceived to be behind that person, that could prove even more problematic.
No, you see, I have this philosophy that if you are always acting fair and firm, you can overcome some of these things. The problem is, when you start doing these things, you pull down somebody's house and you leave another person's house. But if we come together as a country, we've seen the devastating effect of some of these developments on us. Look, I will go back to the Greater Accra Regional Minister. Most of us supported him. There are people who have been cursing him and doing all sorts of things. I mean, when he said, I'm going to move people away from Agbogloshi, what kind of resistance did not come? People even were shooting at the military and the police when they went there. But in the end, he said, we will do it. You see, when anybody is doing the right thing, and is doing it fairly and firmly, you engage the people, people have seen the effect, and you say, this is the way I'm going. We can do it. The point is that there will always be bad nuts. Some people will always try to go behind and say, as for me, don't do it to me. But the moment you do, you start and you break down some people's house, and obviously the others to be broken down, and you fail to do it. That's where the challenge comes. So if we can be very firm and fair about some of these things, but that is what is lacking in our system. There are elements of corruption associated with us. People will take money and allow people to do the wrong things. Some people will also think they are above the law. I think 2 years ago or so, a chief started filling up a place along that route with the intention of putting up what do you call it, a filling station also. When they went to stop him, he was claiming it is his land, he could do it. National security was able to stop him. I think we need to enforce the law, and those who fail to do their job must be sacked. It's as simple as that.
Let's get to Abdullahi. Abdullahi, thank you for remaining with us. I just want to put some of the engineering questions your way. What can engineers advise as to how to start to plan our drainage system? Especially, we've seen the roads getting flooded, we've seen the highways getting flooded, and it seems that some are pointing to the drains as the reason why we're seeing what we are seeing. What can we do to improve the current situation, and what should be the standard going forward for future construction works?
Well, when a road construction is about to begin, there are professionals in the engineering division. We have the highway, the geotech, the hydro, we have the structural engineers, the contract engineers. So the whole corridor of the road is factored into the design. The catchment area, the adjoining lands, which are either reversing backwards or are approaching the road, I mean, they're higher than the road. The hydrological engineers do all this, hydrology engineers do all this catchment and come out with a certain volume. And that determines the sizes of the drains to be constructed. Now, when the drains are constructed, with a survey detail, they would have to locate where we have the lowest outlets, and the drains are channeled and the waters are emptied into either rivers or other storm drains to continue to the final destination. So when you see a road constructed, and in a matter of, let's say, 4 or 5 years, the road has not been flooding, and all of a sudden, the road begins to flood, you should ask yourself, how come the first 5 years there was no flood on that portion of the road? Then you have to start to ask questions beyond the road. That's where you see that possibly where the outlets are located, the wider outlet which would have allowed flowing of water, discharge of water to have a gentle movement, had been tempered with. Either there has been a physical obstruction to the flow of the runoffs. So as the contractor or the consultant designs the road and the road is completed and is given to the government on the handing over day, the road ceases to be the property of the consultant or the contractor after the 1-year deferred liability period. That is where the assembly comes in. So with that road passing through a certain assembly, let's say assembly A, they have to ensure that the road has been given to them because they are part of government, and they should not allow any of the channels along the road to be impeded. Because if that happens, then you have to deselect, and people go back and relate it to the engineering. But I understand that some part of the engineering maybe, few portions, maybe a fresh road, a newly constructed road may have some of this deferred right from the onset. Or maybe they'll have very few challenges with regards to where they're supposed to channel their water. And some of these things are hindered because of the compensations that the project, in this case the client, the government of the Republic of Ghana, ought to drop out to the contractor to extend some of these drains. So everything that is done by the engineer's view has to be done right. But once the developability period is finished and the road comes under the care of the assembly, they have to make sure that they protect it. Because no drainage, as far as I'm concerned, I'm part of those who constructed the Oyarefa, Ayimensa, Peduase, Ketase, Ebri, all the way to Manfi Road in 2004 to 2007. And as we speak, on this corridor, you wouldn't see flood. But now we're having flood at Oyarefa towards Ayimensa. Why? Because at the time of the construction, the road was elevated a bit high, and there were streams and water bodies around both sides of the when you are Ebri bound or when you are Ayimensa bound. Mostly the water was coming from the right hand side towards the left hand towards the right hand side. And if over 100 warehouses have been constructed at the discharge point of all the culvert, that cannot be blamed to the contractor or the engineer who supervises the construction. I'm not getting the picture very well.
I'm trying to follow the point you're making, but it seemed like we are laying a lot of the blame on the assemblies for their lack of supervision. But shouldn't the individuals who put these buildings there also take part of the blame, knowing that they are denying the general society of an opportunity to protect their property and their lives when the waters come down?
They are taking their blame. They should take some of the blame, but that's why there's a law for enforcement. That's where I'm coming from. I may not be able to work at the assembly because I'll act and I'll be sacked. Get it? I'm just on a lighter note. I may not be able to work at the assembly because the law backs me as a works head. I will take a lot of decisions that will get me out because of the political will. I'm telling you. So we should be able to be frank with the situation. How would you put a motorway? Have you seen that the motorway has started flooding? In 2019, 2020, I made a statement that we're having localized and sectional flood on the motorway now. The motorway has a median with grass, and almost at every 2 kilometers, there's a discharge point or a catchment in the middle. So that whatever water goes on the road in the median, collect underneath and goes at the side of the motorway. Now, both sides of the motorway have been taken by a long factory warehouses blocking the motorway for 60 years. We are beginning to have sectional and localized flooding on the motorway. That cannot be a problem for you and I, who is in the studio, or my co-panelists. If the assembly doesn't have the wherewithal to cut the whip, then we might as well just close the assemblies, because at the end of the day, the power stops with them. And they have to get the political. So in one way, I can say that the president has it again. Let's catch on the opportunity and act now. If we're able to demolish over 30% of the obstructions of buildings along the highways, trust me, next year there will be a significant reduction. Accra can never go out of flood completely. But we need to start something. And then secondly, development is moving faster before planning. The assemblies are far behind catching up with the development. And so I think if they are under-resourced in terms of personnel, they have to allay their troubles or their challenges to their local ministry.
And that really is the problem. That's also the problem, isn't it, Abdullahi? Because if the assemblies do not already have a plan, then those who buy the lands and those who sell them actually dictate the pace of development and determine what should go where. So by the time the assembly catches on to that plan, it may well already be too late.
We have been talking about planning the capital for the past 6 years or 7 years. There has been a committee who are supposed to do this whole plan of the master plan of Accra. Is there any update as we speak? If government is already, like I said, they are under-resourced, there are a lot of consultants, professionals who can be awarded to handle this thing with a matter of maybe within a matter of a year or two. Accra is that big. There are challenges that I'm not sure of the challenges. But if we want to do our snail pace approach towards getting a master plan for the whole of Greater Accra and other regional capitals, then we'll come back next year, like I've been saying, and we'll rehash the same story again. Because there's supposed to be a master plan that everybody will fit into the master plan. The assemblies have their own zonal plan, but it has to be in conformity with the national plan. So if that is missing, then we'll come back again and talk about this. But it's about time we need to be very serious, because the extent of devastation, I said last 2 years that in the next 10 years, we may be having, you have about 3 or 4 more of the storm drains, but they cannot contain the runoff that will be coming from upstream, i.e. Bukwasi, Ofanko, Amasaman, Kwabenya. Have you seen the Kusu recently after Kwabenya? The whole place has been taken over by developers, and they are not feeding into the national plan. And they have an assembly there.
Right. More questions than answers, Abdullahi. We'll invite our viewers to join this conversation. Our WhatsApp number is 05555561034. Mr. Odro and Mr. Mahama, stay with us and let's listen to what people are saying. Perhaps you may want to pick on some of the things that they say. Kathy standing at the screen now.
Yes, we've got some pictures coming in also. 05555561034. This happened at Manyara Pokuase, washing bay behind this house blocking water flow. Everyone in the area knows that the place water is passing. It's a place where water passes. For years, he filled the place up with about 150 trips of sand. No permit for him to work there. GBC can check from the Ghana West Municipal. He doesn't live there. Only his business, his washing bay is there. It's causing someone's property fear and panic. The so-called assembly only knows to stop work, writing on the wall, and then taking bribes is your claim. So this is what is happening in somebody's house. Yeah, and they've sent pictures of
take the assembly to court.
They take the assembly to court. It's a suggestion. Yeah, so this is what it looks like. Lots of pictures. Yeah, thank you so much for sending us all this content. Shows what is happening in the house. It's really sad. One day. The problem is not only in Ghana, but part of the developed world. So this is a kind of a flooding equalization. Yeah, thank you for that. We don't live in other parts of the world. We live in Ghana. And we want to solve Ghanaian problems. Thank you very much. Yeah. Mahmoud Ba, good morning, GTV. I hope this flooding will not be blamed on Russia-Ukraine war. Guys, let's be serious, man. Please.
That's a good one.
My house is flooding at Pram Pram. Send us a picture, please, and report to the authorities. So this is what is happening. Let's take some more. Good morning. My name is Eric from Tema Gulf City. I would like to report a case in my neighborhood, Gulf City Frenchman Road, behind GIU International School. One man has blocked the waterway with a wall having an electric fence on it. And according to the demarcation map at the Katamanso district office, it's supposed to be a walkway and waterway. But we all don't know the power this man is relying on, and this is really disturbing houses around, because when it rains, my house and other houses get seriously affected with water flood during to the wall. So we, the people here, seek for help. Since I'm reading on your station that the government has been given an order for structures in waterways to be demolished. Thank you very much. I think this is great. Now that the president has boomed, you know, given a big announcement from the mountaintop, we at the bottom now need to action this. So get the evidence and go to your assembly and say, listen, I am empowered by the president that you people are supposed to be destroying buildings, not negotiating, not taking money,
not writing on walls.
Not writing on walls. No artwork. It's serious business now. Okay? All right. So let's more. Good morning, please. I'm from Asylum down around Christian Methodist in front of the big. We are facing many problems here, especially the flood. So we're calling on the government to help us. I think what would be good is for every assembly to have a hotline where people can send in information, because they can't do it by themselves. But if the people who are suffering this are sending in the information, it will work. So go to your assembly and say, listen, I'm empowered. Show them a copy of today's Ghanaian Times. All right? I'm disappointed in our engineers in Ghana. No one pays attention to land slopes. We just build anyhow and construct drainage without taking into consideration where to direct and slope the gutters. The hill around Kaswa Toll Booth area, look at how people are putting up buildings selfishly without thinking about others, and how one can construct a drainage and direct it to the roadside anyhow. Our engineers only know how to... Oh, Charlie, I can't read that one. I don't know anything about what you're talking about. 02455561034. I want to suggest something that I saw in Togo, which I think should be some solution to the perennial flooding on our roads. When constructing some major roads, they connect the gutters along the road, some kind of dam purposely created to harvest the rainwaters. And they plant green grass, trees, and garden chairs around those dams. The gutters are connected to a nearby lagoon. Listen, I want to go to Togo. I want to go there for a weekend, and then I want to see for myself. So I might do and report that to you. Okay. I like that statement. Fair. Your cameraman should also have shown the Atale Building Materials Depot just opposite the house in the storm drain on the waterway on Kaswa Road. That was Alan's report that came through. Thelma, tell me when I have to stop. Good morning, Thelma. The president has issued an order calling for the demolition of buildings in waterways, even those with permits. The challenge for the president is whether his instruction will be carried out. That will be the day. Watch this space. Once again, kudos to you and your panelists for confronting the issue headlong. Yeah, let's help the president. He's giving the order, and then we just go to the assemblies with our evidence, and you speak to the assemblies. Well, it's not the president descending from Jubilee House to do this. It has to be your assembly. They are in charge. I spoke to EPA, and EPA said they don't do demolition. It's the assemblies. So more power to the assemblies. All right? Good. It's wrong for the president to outrightly order for the demolition of authorized structures when there are mandated offices established to see these things. It simply means someone is not doing his or her work well. You think it's wrong? I doubt it. He can appoint 6,000 people. What's a command for things to be demolished? Some more buildings. Let's go to the top. Boom. Selassie. So this show is really helping Ghanaians. Thank you. What's the role of town planners? Do they consider drainage factors? Why don't we consider underground drainage systems and close our gutters? That's my question. Why are the gutters open, yawning like that for people to pee?
Open drains.
Yeah, right. It's open toilets. Let's say it as it is. Yeah. So having breakfast. Good morning, but this is GTV breakfast. Good guys. Keep it up. Thelma, are you cool?
Yes, I am. Thank you so much. Oh, a barrage of messages. Thank you so much.
Okay, yeah.
I'm sure that if time allows, we may be back for some more.
I like the
but let me make one quick comment here. My first plea is that I think in this country we are afraid to go to court for certain things. We must go to court when somebody builds near my house and I'm not happy. If you want to join the assembly to the suit, inform the assembly ahead of time that this is happening to me, and if no action is taken, I will sue you, the assembly, and the person causing the nuisance. For instance, I mean, we do see some of these cases of people raising, I mean, they fill portions of land with sand, so many trips of sand,
almost like land filling, and then they reclaim the land and use it for other purposes.
I mean, not too long ago, I saw something. We were having a program with Wija Assembly, and we wanted to go and look at the river, to look at whether people were throwing rubbish into the river. And we were trying to assess the stream. On our way there, we saw somebody heaping sand on a particular piece of land just next to the river. I was hoping an assembly member would even have raised some questions about it. Nothing was said. And that is going to happen sooner than later. So these are some of the things. But people should go to court.
Don't be afraid to take the assembly on in this quest as the president has directed. A reminder to the assemblies. I'll pick your last thoughts on this, Abdullahi Mahama. Suggestions for an underground drainage system and all these things that have been thrown about, all these thoughts and opinions that you've heard from the screen. Where really should we begin? Because a lot of money has gone into this already. It's clear that the signals or the response that we want has not been achieved. So where do we even start? Does it start with banning plastics? Does it start with continuing the desilting process? Does it start with cracking the whip with the assemblies? And what can people do?
There should be a continuous desilting of the drainage system. I've heard many a time people making comments about having underground drains. Even with the open drains that we even see what is inside, we are not able to desilt, let alone cover all the drains. I always say that if you look at outside the country or the European countries, the underground drains are covered, but they have holes that channels all the water into them. But they have feather lined concrete and then grass, so that when the runoff is coming into the drain, it does not carry quite a quantity of silt into the drains. We don't have that design or that landscaping in the country. So if you do an underground drain immediately, and then the adjoining land just close to the drain has only sand, and you leave those small holes within them, once they are even getting full, you might not know until you come and remove some of the slabs before you can do the desilting. So that's fine. We can do that discussion on a lengthy note. But I'm just adding my voice to my co-panel. I've been on most of the TV stations and radio stations asking for people, professional lawyers who are passionate like me. I want to set some examples by supporting them with technical facts, and then we'll set some examples in some assemblies that I've identified. So I'll use your medium again. Kafu Day is my friend. I want him to do that search for me. I want to get some lawyers who will be pro bono in doing some of this for God and country. We are more than available for that support, to help with evidence of documentations or buildings that are in waterways or which are in the right of space, which are becoming injurious to other people's lives and prosperity. And then, before I forget this, the NPA have been consenting to lands along, especially the highways and our roads, for the construction of filling stations. By the law, the nearest filling station to the next one should be about 300 meters. We see cluster of filling stations just separated by walls. And what I'm bringing is that most of those filling stations have to fill the land to a certain level above the road or at par with the road before they do their construction. If they don't have the experience or the power, they should wait until the assembly consent to the land location before they give their permit. Because some of the assemblies, once they see that an MPA approval, they go ahead to issue their permit. And if you look at Amasaman from mid-year coming, I just made an observation about 2 days ago. The whole of the left-hand side from underneath the mountain, when you are Accra bound, has been filled above the land behind. And that's an old community. So it has filled more than 2 meters, claiming that you are coming to fill your land to come and construct warehouses and filling stations. You are inundating the whole other community with flood. And they are going to be getting issues of permit in the near future, maybe in the next 3-4 months, after the land has consolidated, they are going to get their permit. So I would want the GTV to take a small visit along the mid-year Hebron Road and see the massive filling along the highway that has made all the other old community to be about 2 meters below the existing the road. And these are the things that we are trying to look at and see that if the engineers at the assembly are also not experienced, then we have to get people to do their work for them. So that is one. I want
thank you.
Day and your good self to get me this one as soon as possible.
I'm sure that we will engage in further consultations, and then we will figure out what to do with you from here on out. But
Abdullahi Mahama, thank you so much, engineer. He's a road and building consultant, and he's been sharing his views with us via Zoom. Thank you, Abdullahi, and we'll get in touch with you pretty soon. Mr. Odro, as we wrap up, like I asked Abdullahi, where should we even begin to situate our initial focus? Because it seems like a lot of things must happen, and it sounds like they must all happen at once for this to have any chance of working.
Well, any success is going to come from leadership. Here, the law gives the powers to the assembly.
Do you think they will have the political
will? I think
will
they must
to do it?
show the way forward. But that is not all. If they start their portion, and even central government has got a role to play. Some of these major activities like silting and major building of storm drains and the likes, they're going to come from central government. But the assemblies must start doing their bit. As they say, right in the corner where you are, let them start doing their bit from their own areas. And collectively, you will all be amazed if every assembly is doing its bit. You see that collectively, we have a lot being done in this country. So if we don't get leadership from the assembly, I think we are done for. There's not much we can do.
Perhaps that's why the president has reiterated, made the call again for the assembly to be up and doing, remove all the illegal structures.
But I also pray that when they start breaking things
the
down,
public will cooperate.
We will give them the support. We should stop all those saying, wait for the next election.
The economic cost, the financial cost,
the
vote cost.
No, but when they start doing that, you see, I think yesterday I heard something, this is just an aside, some radio station has gone to some school children, and they're doing this vox pop. And I was asking myself, who gave you the authority
to talk to children?
To talk to children. I mean, people don't understand children's rights. You don't have permission from their parents. You've gone to them, they were talking about school feeding. But I asked myself, you see, half of the time, media should play its role. When we know the right thing must be done, we should not allow people to make certain threats. It gives oxygen to others who say that, oh, when they were doing this here, the media went there, people were crying, this is my only job and you are taking away my job and all that. Somebody will say, this is all that I have. I've put up my building and you're going to break it down. But the point is that as a society, if we must survive, we must break it down.
Break it down, play by the rules, and if your building or business is in a waterway, the district assembly may be coming for you. So perhaps it's time for you to start cleaning out that warehouse that you cited at that wrong place. The permit will not matter in this new drive, as the order has gone out to demolish all buildings in the waterways in a quest to handle or to bring some of the flooding situations into focus. The engineers are also telling us, lawyers come on board, partner with the engineers and take the MMDAs on if they refuse to do the right thing, and we'll be engaging in further discussions to make sure that we can play a role in that drive. I'll be excited to see all the waterways cleared so that the flooding situations and instances are reduced. This is GTV Breakfast, and the other side of the couch will be coming alive with some comedy, so get ready to get some ribs cracked this morning, and we'll be back after this break to do just that. Hi, welcome again and welcome to the warmer side of the breakfast table. My name is Valerie Dan, so you can follow us everywhere online when you use the hashtag GTV breakfast. And so yeah, we're going to be we've been talking about flooding, and it's dumping our spirits a little, and so we tend to lift our spirits, and we tend to do that through comedy. So there's this guy on the block, MJ the comedian, and I was doing research and I looked on his page and there was something about him, and this guy was saying that, oh, when he said he wanted to be an actor, his teacher said, go and look in the mirror again. And so I expected his response to be, he was dampened, go down the hall, and was like, oh, Charlie, I see what you facing nice, he said, nah, the acting, yeah, you don't be the magic. Guys, I have on the couch MJ the comedian. Welcome.
Thank you very much. You are looking splendid. Even though we have the rain falling and stuff, and people are getting flooded and stuff, but you are still looking exquisite. Oh my God! Stop it.
Oh wait, we are about to begin, guys. And so that's MJ the comedian. We'll take a break on one of his videos, and it's coming up now.
Mountains over there. Give it to Michael Owusu. Forever. Forever. And then you see the rocks and the stones. Give it to Rockstone, and then leave some for Stoneboy and boy. Forever. How about the plantains? The plantains, give it to Javan Felix. Forever. The oxygen, give it to Akrobe too. Close tomorrow. Yeah, you have enough to breathe. And then, the monkeys. The monkeys. Oh, leave them for their brother. Who's their brother? PP. No, Yebenya said. But still forever.
Hello viewers, your boy Knee Behind Bars, and I'm here with MG. Okay. MG, please give me some flavors to the main hitting songs right now.
Killer don't lie when I say I did it. Big stash, big cash, one way, but I can't believe. And I 1 minute. No man that was born for this shit. No man that was born for this. Of course, yeah! I fuck up, Charlie.
Guys, and so MJ is on our couch. Hi. Oh, why? I mean, a guy made me laugh so many times behind us. Stop doing that. Can we have a conversation without any laughter? Let's be serious for a while, and then we can be unserious.
All right, that's fine. We should be humble, serious. Okay, we'll be serious.
No, don't start. So, MJ put up a post on his social media, and there was a gap in his teeth.
Yeah.
And said he wanted recommendations for a dental clinic or a dentist, but affordable. Yeah. And then somebody offered to pay for his teeth, and that's why MJ sits here all the time, and then he's showing his 36.
Oh, stop it.
So we'll show you videos before and after. Hello, MJ. Officially welcome.
Thank you very much.
Like, what's happening with comedy? Yeah. How did you start? Did you always know you wanted to be a comedian, or you sort of just branched into it? It happened along the way. Give us a whole filler from A to Z.
From A to, so from A, I was born. From D, I was growing. And Z, I died.
We are not dead, at least not yet.
Yes, but eventually. You see, one funny thing I would always want people to know is that, see, irrespective of who you are, you will meet the Z, and the Z is you die. You would see,
the Z there, you will die.
So you should rehearse for death, like how you are going to die. So sometimes you can be there, no, just think of how would I look in my casket. See, that's the best moment in life. You should be there, so what if I go no, I fall down and die? Like, I die with swag. So you before me as a killer, God, I'm about to come. But you will die. My all started, I think I was a church rat. I was born and grew up in the church. So I was given these, these churches, we have conversation, these are drama and stuff, so they will give you role to act, and then when it's time for convention and stuff, you go and perform for them. Yeah. So I was not like a comedian by then, but then they usually give me that role where I would keep the audience or the members laughing and stuff. I didn't know that was it.
That was the beginning.
So I got to JHS. I was still doing it, and I was like, come on. I'm still doing this and people are enjoying it, so I'll venture into acting. So I started going to auditions and stuff. I'll come to school, I'll be feeling the Majid in me and then the Van Vika in me. So my teachers got to know that this guy is interested in acting. So one teacher called me like, Killer, hey, go and look at your face in the mirror. I was like, Killer, I didn't know the person sharing. I checked, I looked at myself, I just opposed me and Majid. So that the teacher was telling me the hard truth. But like, show me name say I'm the quite sexy. Like, how do I play a romantic scene? How do I do that? Then I advised myself. I was like, bro, let's have a chat. So I was sitting with myself. Then my other person that came out of me and sat down like, teacher that cancer, I was like, oh, we will not give up. We'll still do it. So I started doing that comic roles and things. I saw like, oh, this is the calling. This is the calling. This means you are fine. You are not fine. You can do it. Because I had my brothers there.
Your brothers?
I realized I had brothers there. Right now, if you put me and put in cancer, you pick me first. You put me and put patapa, you pick me first. You put me and put a president. Our comedy president, you know, comedian have president. You pick me first, then before pick that person. Whatever you are thinking, keep it in your mind.
No can give me matter for here.
No, I said whatever you are thinking, keep it in your mind. Just say it out. So eventually, that's how it started. And God being so good, we've been able to craft it well and then make it more professional and then more of a venture where people could actually look at it and then say that, oh, do this actually doing something well. But it all started from that side.
And how's it going so far?
So far, yeah, you see, it's a creative space, and eventually you would have challenges, right? And then having the challenges doesn't mean you shouldn't like do more. You get me? And then the challenges will even gear you up to even do more. You get me? So fortunately for me, I'm a stand-up comic and then I'm a comic actor. So I play those roles. I could act, I could eventually do the stand-up comedy.
And so the acting has finally come into being.
Yes, but it has gotten some adjective attached to the acting.
I get it.
Comic acting.
But then I see in your future that you might be casted for a few roles in certain movies. I see that happening in the future. Have you seen it too? I see it. Have you seen it too?
What did you eat this morning?
Gobe. Tolo beef gobe.
See, where do you eat? You see, gobe is for some people in Ghana. There are some people who cook gobe. Say you know them. You know them. Come on, nice. See the whole world.
The one who cooked it today is called Thelma. She's a Ghana.
Actually, Normanites are the most powerful people in the world. I'm telling you. Because, listen, the biggest man-made lake in the whole world is found in Ghana. And it's in the water region.
Don't take me off the subject.
That was one spit from Toby Charlie. So imagine you have spat more than once.
No, don't go off the subject. We are on course. Are you going to have movie producers? Have they reached out to you for certain movie roles?
Yeah, I've had some collaborations. There was currently there's some series on DSTV that is showing. I played a role with General Ntatia. I was a policeman, and I've had a couple of roles that I've played, but like I can't recall all. Yes, I've played a couple of roles. I shot a movie Door to Door with the likes of Ebony, Clemento Suarez, and Kansan Lewin. A couple of movies, yeah, but all I played a comic role, not like the sexy Majid kind of. No,
not the sexy Majid. Majid is still your idol, but you never go reach there.
Now, you see, Majid actually called me the other time. I was like, bro, I could see you are coming up. I said, no, I'm going back.
Let's go to course. Come back to. Let's come back here. Let's go back here. Let's.
Is it?
No, not come. No, sit down. Let's have this conversation. Okay. Ghanaians want to find out more about you.
All right.
Now we know that on social media you're a big blow up because your skits are everywhere. So somebody said, are you looking to like put together an album? Are you looking to have an MJ the comedian concert? What's in the pipeline when it comes to solidifying your brand as a comedian?
Okay, so I've done, you see, as a stand-up comedian, what justifies your growth is having a special. And when we say a special, it's you having a set to perform, which is even like say more than 30 minutes to an hour and even more. So you would be there alone, you have your mic and your audience perform for them. And I've done that twice.
How did it go? What was the feedback?
Yeah, I did first, which I titled it My Missing Tooth, which I actually carved all my content around my looks then. You see, eventually me, I'm one comedian who would create more jokes around me so that I'll be the subject, I'll be the one that you guys will laugh at.
That's your...
Yes, that was me. I actually lost my tooth when I was about 15, 16. I had a car crash. I lost it and the driver decided to run. But now that I know I can do something to him, I'm fine him. He will see. So I had it, and then growing up, you see, you would want to be yourself, self-actualization. This is not how I actually came out, so I decided to find help, and then I got it fixed. Kai could see a fan who I posted, and she was like, "Oh, MJ, I can help you." She took me there, and everything was done. So now I am a complete human being. So eventually, I did my first comedy show, My Missing Tooth. Awesome audience, like they were just there to support and also enjoy themselves. I delivered. I had a couple of comics who came through to also help. Then, fast forward, this year I did another stand-up comedy special called Sex After Marriage. I'm married, so I decided to tell people how I do it to my wife, and they came to listen to the nonsense I had to tell them, and it was fun. Even, you see, we are in an African setting, and it's quite pathetic. Our parents wouldn't want to hear you even talk about sex. They wouldn't even educate you about sex. And then I feel with the creatives, those out there who have the opportunity, can use our platforms to educate people.
And
you get me?
Yeah. And so you decided to use your sex life as...
No, you see, when... The thing is, when people say sex, we only think about the intimacy and stuff. It goes beyond that. It goes beyond that. And that is what the public or everyone needs to understand.
Right. Before your skits come out and it's out there for everybody to see, we know a lot of research goes into your work. Tell us, perhaps the skit we just aired, the one... where you decide you're willing lands to people here and there.
I gave Sarkodie some Michael Lewis.
Righties. How long did it take your team, yourself included, to come up with that skit, and how you decided to do your social media arousing and all? Yeah. So it's comedy, right? And most of the times you need to be informed. You need to have idea of the set you are doing, the skit you are doing. You need to have a full idea of it, so that when you are creating it, you would have a lot of options, right? So say the will that I decided to give out, I need to have information. So if you are there, my brother just came on. So you need to have an idea of what you are doing. So I can't just be there and then I have no idea about the will and stuff. I need to have the idea, the main thing, so that I can just add some few touches to the humor to it, so that you guys could relate to. You get me? So at times it could take you forever to create just a 30 seconds video. Forever meaning how long?
Forever meaning you can have like more than a year.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I'm serious. The reason when you charge a comedian, we don't charge you per the minutes we are going to perform. We are charging you per the time we used in creating that
the content.
You get me? So you say, oh, we are booking a comedian, you are just coming to perform 5 minutes, just 5 minutes, then you are gone. Please, that 5 minutes jokes I'm coming to tell you for everyone to laugh. Do you know how long it took me to create that joke? You don't know. You get me? So sometimes we take so long to create a content. Sometimes you have about a 5 minutes skit, and just the idea will just flow like that, and you have everything. That's part of it.
Okay, we've seen in recent times somebody on stage who was just being humorous and received a massive slap. Have you perhaps in your career as a comedian encountered any form of something that you have said that has caused legal implications for you or your team?
For me, personally, I think myself, I go to the gym a lot. And also I'm FO. So you want it physical or spiritual? Just tell me. You come and beat me, but how you go back is the problem. But then again, I feel comedians, right? We are part of the creative space, and then when you limit a comedian for being creative, the person would not be very creative enough. So comedians shouldn't have limits. That's it. You should be able to create to the pedestal wherever you want to reach. You get me? And I think people say, oh, comedians should have a limit. A joke has two sides, where the tragedy, the person facing the tragedy, and the person causing the tragedy. So the one causing the tragedy will make you laugh, and the person being in the tragedy would be feeling the pain. So when I drop a joke and it's not going in your favor, relax. There's another joke that will go
in the other person's favor.
You get me, so that you laugh. So don't limit a comedian. Allow the comedian to flow. Else, we wouldn't be able to create more jokes.
And from all that you've said, it takes us to, brings us to a point where now we know from all that we are seeing online that comedy isn't something that you just stand there and crack a joke.
Yeah.
Now there's science to it.
Yeah.
There's a lot more technology to it. So we are moving away from old school comedy to new school comedy. Do you believe in that thought?
Exactly. And I've had a lot of people come to my inbox, Killer, wow, I won't do comedy. And I'm like, see, it's not like a comedian is not a fool. I'm telling you the truth.
Very intelligent.
If you are not intelligent, you will take forever to do a 2-second joke. You get me?
A comedian is not a fool, guys.
Yeah.
Quote MJ the comedian.
A comedian is not a fool. Seriously. A comedian is, I say a comedian is a very intelligent, smart, and creative person who is able to meander his way through to make you laugh.
Yeah,
that's a comedian, not a fool.
Simple, that's it.
But a comedian performs and he gets paid. A fool fools around and gets nothing.
Facts on facts on facts. We don't have time. My producer is rushing me. Yeah. But then Mr. Bean, one of the greatest comedians of all time, his kids at a point started complaining that they were being laughed at school, bullied and all of that. You're a family man. Has your family faced any sort of...
No. Me, I tell them that go at whoever will do you, just call me.
Okay.
I'll come. Wherever I am, I'll come. It's your father on TV. You are laughing at my children. It's your father on TV. Go and learn.
Sit down.
And quickly before we end,
I
have my annual event that I do, Dashiki Walk, where I gather people who wear African print and wear dashiki and stuff.
Nice.
And we walk from the trade fair to the Independence Square and back to Labadi. The reason behind this is I want people to find ways to exercise, people to exercise. It's been a whole year where you'll be sitting down and not exercising, not just exercising, but let's feel our African print.
Images on our screen for the dashiki walk. So this year's is when?
2nd July.
Oh, 2nd July coming up.
Yes, please.
What time does it start?
7 a.m. sharp. It starts from the Trade Fair Center to the Independence Square and back to Labadi.
Charlie, I feel your vibe.
Thank you.
And I'm hoping all Ghanaians and Africans in general will take your talent and keep it safe. Guys, we've been spending time with MJ the comedian. He's everywhere on social media. Go out and follow him. He's MJ the comedian everywhere on social media. Guys, today happens to be the birthday of my cousin Kiki Otitaria. Miss Kiki, the party is just beginning. We are bringing the party home. Also happens to be the 10th birthday of Kwesi Okai, and this is from Ellis in the newsroom. He's your uncle, and Uncle Ellis says happy birthday. Also a big birthday to lawyer Festus Owusu. He's the chairman of the National Council of the Elders, Christo Asafo, and this is from Osei Shri Kwame Bempa. He's the spokesperson of the COVID-19 Trust Fund. And this has been our show, guys. You can catch a repeat of this whole show at 11 p.m. on GTV, and the hashtag to follow throughout the day is GTV Breakfast. Also, MJ the Comedian. Have a great day, guys. Bye.